of the Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
We have an army of digital soldiers. What we are now, what we call, I call them, because this was an insurgency, folks. This was run like an insurgency. This was irregular warfare at its finest.
What's up, fellas?
Here we go.
Welcome to Q After Hours, folks. Episode 13. Date is January 11th. That is 1.11/2026. Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year. Yeah. Wow, man. It's Sunday already. It's probably one of the I'm excited about this week. I'm going to tell you. I'm excited. And the reason I'm excited is because the last 11 days have been insane. Like, guess what? It's happening.
Yeah, it's the flood, dude. Yeah, this is the flood. I mean, you got the Department of Labor just straight up Q posting. I mean, you got things after things upon things all happening right after one another, and with more things like we're going to talk about lined up to happen this week. So if you thought last week was bad, it's going to get worse.
Did you guys see? It was Svetlana Lokova.
Svetlana. Yeah, Svetlana.
Lokova.
Yes.
She did a post 22 hours ago. It reads, "Accountability begins Monday. The grand jury will be impaneled in Fort Pierce, Florida on January 12th, 2026. Obama-era officials, including former CIA Director John Brennan and senior FBI officials, were subpoenaed." And she provides a photo of the subpoena. If you guys haven't seen it here, I'll bring it on so everybody can see the image.
I was going to bring something up in lieu of this, because this is something you and I have been talking about. This is from January 4th. I actually have another one out there from November. Jason Reid and Quinones, a name to remember. Now, why is that important? George Papadopoulos, a grand jury has been ordered by the federal judge to be impaneled in Fort Pierce, Florida on January 12th, 2026. Crossfire Hurricane, the CIA Five Eyes operation, and the raid on Mar-a-Lago under scrutiny. Now, this is really, really important. So, Jason Quinones is the U.S. attorney in the Southern District of Florida. And we knew that there was a grand jury impaneled out there, and we were just waiting for things to begin happening. Currently, right now, we only have one grand jury, I believe, that's impaneled. There's 4 of them impaneled: New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Florida. But only one has enacted anything, and that is Lindsay Halligan in Virginia. But Jason Redding Quinones, if you ever go back to, it was either a Q After Hours episode or a DEF CON episode, like our Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who never resigned her commission as a colonel in the United States Army when she took her position, which you're supposed to do. Jason Redding Quinones is also in the Army National Guard and is still active and has not resigned his commission.
Yep. And then you have Mr. and Mrs. Clinton.
Oh, this is
that
good.
Are subpoenaed for the 13th and 14th, I believe, or is it the 14th, 15th? No, 13th, 14th.
13, 14, yep.
13,
Well, hold
14th.
on. Isn't that interesting? You said the 13th and the 14th, right?
I did.
Have you looked at an image of that to see kind of what that looks like on paper?
It got, January 13th would look like 113, and January 14th would look like 114.
Do you remember the other day I was telling you about Donald Trump's post at 12:01 a.m. and how odd that was?
I do.
Because a 12:01 Eastern time post is post 01. And when you go to post 01, it even says 12:01 a.m. Now, the interesting thing about that is when you start to look at the timestamp of Trump's post, it says Monday next week. And now the Tuesday is actually the delta for the Q post that was talking about. I think I got the decode here somewhere.
And it says, and there's 4 booms too. Boom, 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 boom.
That's right. We are in the midst of it, guys. It's happening. I mean, this is, Ed Martin had a timestamp the other day. Did you see this one?
Bring it up.
Let me drop this down. Stop screen, share screen. So Ed Martin had this guy out there, right? Now he said, the people walking in darkness have seen a great light. A light has dawned on those living in the land of darkness. Isaiah 9:2. But look how he puts Isaiah 9:2. Isn't that a little odd? It looks like your boom, boom, boom post, doesn't it? Now, interesting enough, look at the timestamp. Well, not the timestamp, sorry, but look at dark to light, because that's what Isaiah 9:2 is talking about. It's dark to light.
It's dark to light, yeah.
Here, we see the kind of a very similar offset. Boom, boom, boom. A week to remember, dark to light, blackout necessary. Now, what is it? If you go back 1 year, Stephen Miller says so you go back to, I think it's 1/20/25. Okay, 1 year ago on a delta, Stephen Miller says on X, in 10 days, justice will be served.
Because you had the inauguration day, though, starting on the 20th.
That's right.
But you got the 10 days that's relevant now. And you have John Solomon reported it, I think, like 2 or 3 hours ago. It was a couple people that reported it. Trump's his caravan. No, you wouldn't call it a caravan. Motorcade. His motorcade got rerouted because of a suspicious package that was found at the airport where he was supposed to be going. And by the time it all was figured out and people were reporting on it, Trump was already wheels up in the air. And on top of that, you had the Doomsday plane that landed over here in LAX for the first time. And what'd they say? I think it was like 40 some years or something like that. It was
51 years is the first time that it's been back to LAX.
Yeah. So interesting, man. And you got all 3 Dooms planes up in the air right now, and they've quadrant off America into 3 slices. So the one looks like it has the Western region, central like actual USA, and then one that's covering the Eastern region. So, Trump's motorcade, readjusting for the fact that they reported on it. They obviously wanted it to fall on our radars. They wanted us to talk about it to understand how serious things are. You have the other thing that I want to say John Solomon too here. Let me bring this one up to make sure I get it right. No, this one was Brianna Morales says happening now. This was 4 hours ago. Federal prosecutors have launched a new investigation into New York Attorney General Letitia James. This investigation focuses on her campaign's prior payments to her longtime hairdresser, whatever her name is, something Marsh, who was indicted last month in Louisiana on federal charges of bank fraud. So again, they're not letting these people off the hook, and all this is coming, on the span of right now, like in a few hours. We hit Monday.
A few hours.
I think it's
nonstop.
Yeah, Brad. And Brad, talk to us a little bit about 11.3, 11.4 in the boards. So I think that this is interesting because Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton were just last week threatened with basically a DOJ referral because they're ignoring the subpoena. The last day that Hillary Clinton has to respond is a 113, and the last day Bill Clinton has to respond is 114, which is 11.3 and 11.4. It's kind of mind blowing because you had. And I'm going to lead in for you because I know that you already got this already ready to go. But the other day we had trust the plan, right? Okay. Now we had the timestamp of this at 5:27, right? Monday, next week, bigger, public. We listened 20 out of 80 is less than 40 out of 60, right? But look at the delta on here for the date, January 13th.
January 13th. I freaking love it, bro. And you look at the names that they talk about. They talk about 3 dates, 11.3, 11.4, and then 11.6. And in those dates, I mentioned Podesta and Huma.
Mm-hmm.
Who Podesta was Bill Clinton's right-hand man, even though
Bill Clinton's chief of staff. Yep.
Yeah, he's chief of staff. And Huma was Hillary's right hand. And who are we getting? Bill on 113, which is 113, and Hillary on 114, which is 114. Damn, it's like proxies almost. I mean, it's just you can't make this shit up, and it's all happening. And like you're saying, dude, the freaking Department of Labor is dropping Patriots in control and Q dropping, and they even have
hold the line today.
Hold the line. They have hold the line. We have trust the plan. They literally posted trust the plan. And if you go here, and this one, people say this is a little ambiguous, but if you follow the boards, it's not. Their pinned tweet is this, and this is just the generic American flag.
I call it the Q flag.
To post all the time in the Q post.
Yep,
all the time.
I call it the Q flag.
Yep, exactly. And again, here's a breakdown of what I say are the 3 most important. And again, one of them has, again, the Q flag on it. First one, right, we talked about this last week, was the Patriots in control. And you just start reading it. It evokes those posts. You start reading them. I thought this one was pretty relevant, where it says, note the past 2 years, note the next 6, which from this post brings you into mid-2025, into the second Trump administration, brings you to almost where we are now. You were told what was going to happen. You were told what battles we'd face, strategic, pre-planned, Patriots in control, and trust the plan, dude. This is just like, they posted fucking trust the plan. I mean, this doesn't even need a breakdown, but this is like, I thought this one was great. Fellow Patriots,
yep.
What you're about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control of freedom. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt, pure evil, abuse of power that Hussein administration undertook in joint efforts with domestic and foreign dignitaries, right? What'd you say? They're announcing Crossfire Hurricane right now, impaneled freaking grand jury. The snowball has begun rolling. There's no stopping it now. D5, stay the course and trust the freaking plan. Protective measures are in place. Remain brave. We knew this day would come. So I think we're here, right? We're here right now. It's also just in general, the corruption that's coming out. There's even more stuff, and I can play you guys a clip in a little bit about that. Even more stuff coming out from the Minnesota daycare fraud. There's even a second thing. There was a cool meeting with Bissett and others today talking about that.
FinCEN. Using FinCEN to track that money internationally.
Before you go on to the next 2, Brad, go back to the trust the plan one.
Okay.
I actually used this photo as the cover photo on the article that I wrote. But you see how it says last edited 1:27 p.m. Now go see what they wrote. They actually, because they in their text says trust the plan, trust Trump, right?
Yes. Well, I thought this was interesting, right? Because isn't this what the original one said already?
So click on where it says last edited.
So
so I could go to the regular one. This is just
because that's
should I have, but I have the DOJ right here. And okay. So
what's the timestamp on the new one? It is East Coast time. 5:27 is the new time. Now go to the original time.
So
it's not going to give you the original time.
It will. It will when you go to the edited one. It'll show you.
Oh, okay, yeah. 125. Okay.
So you got
125. So 525 and 527.
525 and 527. So
I'm 4 hours behind.
Are they wanting us to either see the timestamp 527? Are they, because obviously they did the edit because they didn't change any of the text. I went through everything's exactly the same, capitalization, lowercase, everything's there's no changes.
Is it
to this
picture?
So there's a 2-minute difference, 2-minute difference,
and a 2-minute difference. So
so they're definitely calling light to that then.
They are absolutely. So are they trying us? Do they want us to look at post number 2 for the, the 2-minute difference? Are they wanting us to look at 527 or 1727? That there's something here that they want us to see regarding the timestamp, because there's zero. They didn't change the image. They didn't change the text.
Let me go. Maybe I'll go to 527.
I'm at 525. There's nothing significant there. 526, nothing really significant there. And 527 obviously is pretty important.
What you were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's just do a kill bracket 2 and see what comes up.
Just post 2?
No, just do a kill bracket on 2. Okay. So do bracket 2 bracket.
Yeah.
And you get a ton of stuff that comes up.
Oh, because it's a 2-minute change?
Yep, 2-minute change.
Okay. Let's stop this.
Now you go to 45-42 is a good one. You go, that's Vegana.
Oh yeah.
Vegano.
The first time the United States has you in a presidential courageously defends the right to life. F&A, dude.
I mean, sometimes they make mistakes, or 32-32. For some reason, that one shows up. Yep, 32. Up, marker 2, set.
32-32?
Right there, the watches.
Okay.
So marker 1, right there. Okay. So marker 1 is, what is that, 449?
449.
And then marker 2 is, we got 305.
305, 306. Yeah, 305.
Right. And then if you scroll down, it says marker 2 set.
It definitely could be posting to these. I personally, I think it probably points to the next week. Like you're saying, just a straight 527. Next week's going to be even more. It's gearing up to be even more. And this has been a crazy freaking week.
Well, because
already.
Or post 2.
Let me go back.
Because I think if you guys remember post 2, that's definitely a fun one.
Post 2, yeah, that's huge. Magbart HRC detained, not arrested. Whereas Huma is the 11. Actually, Huma they say is 11.6, and the 11.3, 11.4, if I remember, it says 11.3 will be Podesta, and then it'll be, I guess, like active on the 4th. They're both talking about Podesta. Podesta's linked to Hillary and Bill, and then 11.6 it says Huma.
And Podesta is actually important right now, because if you go back a week and a half, Chuck Grassley at the Senate Oversight Committee just subpoenaed the DOJ for Wiener's laptop.
And And on top of that, you have Soros that's mentioned in this post. And 3 days ago, I think 2 or 3 days ago, Trump went out and during the press briefing, he called out Soros, Arabella, like all those entities, and then they posted it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. This is profound. Do you believe HRC, Soros, Obama, etc. have more power than Trump? Fantasy. So they're listing their power right now with these color revolution style protests. If you ever, anyone out there, if you ever look into, you could just ping ChatGPT or any of these things to try and ask them how many protests against Trump have there been since he was elected. It's over 100,000 organized protests in the United States. And you look at Obama and say, like, it's not so out of the ordinary, right? Like Tea Party was doing ones for Obama, and this happens. Obama, a couple thousand. Trump, 100,000 plus stints. They're just everywhere. They're all over the country. Anytime anything happens, there's little ones all over the place. There's big ones. This is a paid color revolution. This is why Soros, right before this post, if I remember correctly, it was, I think, like a couple weeks before the Q drops even started, donated $20 billion to his Open Society Foundation, because then they can use it and they could have different layers removing him from it, and they could just use it freely to pay protesters to go into different things. There is, I think this was really parallels the color revolutions. A lot of people say that. And if you look at, say, Euromaidan 2014, Soros, his second biggest foundation is his International Renaissance Foundation, which he founded in Ukraine right after they left the USSR, right? So right early 90s, right after they leave the USSR, right as that's all breaking up in general, he establishes the International Renaissance Foundation in Ukraine. They immediately start doing all their subversive shit that he's been doing in the United States since 2004. Throughout the 90s, until leading to the 2004 Orange Revolution there. But then it keeps going, and then they eventually have Euromaidan in 2014. They paid NGOs to train protesters, which we're seeing now, just came out in that church where they're literally training protesters how to fight ICE agents. But back then, in the lead up to 2014 Euromaidan, the International Renaissance Foundation funded NGOs that trained protesters how to protest. They also funded the Euromaidan Press, which provided all the English coverage to the West of what was going on. So that's obviously subversive. And they funded the exit polls that sparked the revolution in the first place. So we are in the midst of a Soros color revolution. It's not working quite as well as it was worked over in Europe so much. But this is all very important, the way they operate.
Absolutely. Shout out Texas Jules, gifted 5 subscriptions. And now, since we got hyped and got right into it, let me just take this quick pause to do 2 of our amazing sponsors. And then when we come back on the other side of this, I want to know if you gents have a way of tying what's going on in Iran to all this. Or maybe South America, or maybe all of it. So with that, let's pay some bills real quick, folks, with Scales gear. Scales Freedom Collection is where the open ocean meets the red, white, and blue seas we call home. Inspired by salt air, tight lines, and the rhythm of the tide and waves, this collection channels the spirit of freedom through the lens of a waterman's lifestyle. From long-sleeve performance shirts built for elements to buttersoft tees and hats adorned with bold, ocean-inspired Americana prints, every piece is designed to keep you cool, protected, and connected to the water that sets us free. From welding weed lines to tree lines, we love our freedom. Shop now at badlandsmedia.tv/scales and enter the code Badlands at checkout for 20% off your next purchase. From weed lines to tree lines is what I was trying to say. And of course, our Badlands shop, folks. Happy New Year, Badlands family. Let's kick off the golden age with unstoppable action. As your favorite Badlands show wraps up, dive right into the Badlands show, where we've curated top-notch sponsors and exclusive deals just for you. From a premium USA-made health supplements and grass-fed meats to bold patriotic apparel, secure tech gear, and veteran-owned coffee, we've got everything to power your American-first lifestyle and crush those New Year's resolutions. Whether it's on-air spotlights or daily essentials, shopping here is easy, smart, and impactful. Every dollar you spend fuels freedom, backing patriot entrepreneurs, family businesses, and creators who share our values. You're not just getting great gear, you're strengthening the movement that keeps Badlands Media thriving. Thank you for supporting businesses that support Badlands Media. Head over now to badlandsmedia.tv/shop or click shop on the main menu at badlandsmedia.tv. Let's make 2026 legendary. So we have Iran that's in the midst of being overthrown by its people.
Well, before you go into that, do you want to should I just do the last?
Oh, yes, my apologies. Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely,
because we have the Patriots in control, obviously, trust the plan, obviously, and then there's hold the line with Trump holding an umbrella like we're in the storm, and that one only has one corresponding Q post. Hold the line, Riders. Justice is coming. I feel like that is the perfect cap on these two, trust the plan, Patriots in control. The three really work well together. And again, there's just been a litany of shit that has happened this week. Amazing. Definitely the flood.
It's fire,
And then Iran being obviously one of them, because this was kind of alluded to in Q posts. The Iran freedom, Iran next.
Well, have you seen Trump's latest post on True Social?
You should bring that up. Holy shit. Dude.
Oh shit.
Soon.
Dude, that reminds me of can you go back to that picture? That looks like the first Dirty Harry, when they're coming with the bus and he's standing on the overpass like about to fuck them all up.
That's right. That's exactly what I got.
Hold on. I didn't watch Dirty Harry, so break this down for me. What are you guys talking about here?
At the end, the madman, he takes over this school bus and he's got a gun and he's trying to get away and they're all screaming, right? The bus drivers pushed aside, everyone's going nuts. And as he's driving to try and get away, you just see Dirty Harry standing on the overpass and like so ominous, exactly like that. And then as it's coming, he jumps off it, jumps on the top of the bus. Guy starts trying to shoot him. And he gets in and then freaking kicks his ass. And then he asks him if he feels lucky. And guess what? He was very unlucky that day.
I did see this one. Yeah.
This is his other post. You guys notice what's different?
Yeah.
Acting president of Venezuela.
Dude, freaking hilarious.
Troll legend, bro.
Well, he's really in control of Venezuela, though. I mean,
technically it's true, right? Yeah.
Technically, it's very, very true. And it's very interesting. So when you start looking at Iran and Venezuela, this is intricately connected. And the two countries that you have to look at is Russia and China. Right. And you notice nobody's talking about China. China's not anywhere in the news. Trump isn't mentioning China. They don't need to. This kind of culminated a few weeks ago. And we talked about this on Q After Hours last week. 11.1 arms deal directly to Taiwan. Trump basically says, fuck around and find out. China responds the next day with export restrictions on silver through the PLA licensing, right? 34% of the silver supply comes from China. 80% of its manufacturing and processing comes from China. So that was a massive hit to the global economy. The next day, they perform a fake embargo over Taiwan with live fire military exercises. So what happens? Well, Trump waits a few days and he waits for the Chinese foreign minister to arrive in Venezuela. And then he launches probably one of the most proficient and lethal military operations in the 21st century that we've ever seen, where we're getting reports right now that they were using high-tech gear, that not only using high-tech gear is they had special weaponry, sonic weapons that basically incapacitated all of the enemy soldiers. How did Delta Force 20 guys kill hundreds of people? Well, there was a sonic weapon utilized that basically incapacitated them, made them bleed from the nose, and begin vomiting immediately when this weapon came in contact with them. So that was a signal sent directly to China. And since then, China's been basically silent, and so is Russia. Now, Russia's kind of an interesting variable in all of this. When you're looking at the global platform of kind of the multipolar world forming, and I know I'm all about the sovereign alliance. I agree with the sovereign alliance, but one thing that I think that we all have to be realist about is in a multipolar world framework, when you have, let's say, 3 or 4 countries that rise up in that framework as kind of the global homogeny, they're going to continuously fight and compete for power. China is not going to just lay down because we're now in a multipolar framework. Russia isn't going to stop doing what it's doing and being Russia just because we're in a multipolar framework. Well, guess what? Trump is not stopping. Trump is setting it up, and Trump is ensuring that America is put first in the world, and America controls all of the primary variables that are going to build the new world moving forth that also limit China and limit Russia's progression. Now, this is very interesting because we talked about Venezuela, and now that oil is controlled by the United States of America. We have Petro in Colombia that's capitulated to Trump and flying in next week to meet Donald Trump. We have Delcy Rodriguez over in Venezuela just giving Donald Trump oil. We got massive oil deals going on, which is, by the way, Venezuela has $300 billion barrels in their strategic petroleum reserve. The United States of America has 55 billion barrels.
Yep,
what does that mean?
Biden.
Yep. And what does that mean? It means that if Venezuela sold off 200 billion barrels of oil, they would become the richest country on the planet, as well as it would reduce oil prices probably by 20 to 30%. And that's just with the reserves that they have. So when you're talking about building out an infrastructure, it's going to take 2 to 5 years. You don't look at that. Look at what they have currently in the reserves to sell and process and get rid of. So this is massive because that's in Trump's control. If you go back about a month prior to Venezuela, Donald Trump negotiated a mineral deal with Brazil. He undermined the EU. He came in, swept in, and grabbed their strategic mineral deal the EU was trying to sign with Brazil out from under them and got that. So he's got Brazil, he's got Venezuela, we already have Ecuador and Peru, and now he's got Colombia. Then what does he say last week? We're going to do strategic land strikes in Mexico. Sheinbaum is shitting her pants. He comes out and says that Cuba is going to collapse. I'm going to send Marco Rubio over there to be the president. Then he's progressing again on Greenland. So that's the Northern Territories entrance into the Arctic. One thing about you, Brad, you're in Alaska. So this is kind of where it's going to get interesting. Remember how Trump was saying that Canada will become the 51st state?
Yes.
He doesn't want Canada. What he wants is the Northern Territory in Canada, where all the uranium mines are, as well as the oil and the rare earth minerals and metals. What I think you're going to see is once he gets Greenland, he's going to say, hey, Canada, we want the Northern Territories, and we're not asking. And he's going to take it. He's going to plant the flag, and he's going to take it. And that whole area in Northern Canada will become Alaska expanded, extended. That's my theory, and I think that that's going to be done within the next year. But what does that do? That puts the United States in strategic control of the Arctic zones. So we're talking about trade routes, accessibility to trade, to ports, and natural resources, because that's what's really going to control the multipolar framework of the world moving forth. And also on top of this is Russia has most of the borderland in the Arctic, but the two main exit points for Russia to get out are there on Alaska side and the other ones on Greenland side. And all of their nuclear submarine ports are in northern Russia. So they always use the Arctic to deploy out. So that's key and strategic that once Trump controls Greenland, he's going to control both of the entry and exit points for Russian nuclear submarines into their naval harbors in the Arctic, which is very, very bad for Russia. I just wrote an article earlier about checkmate on Putin, because that's literally where we're at with Putin. It's checkmate. And I said that once Trump puts Putin in checkmate, Putin was going to withdraw from the ceasefire agreement, and that he's going to kill Zelensky. He's going to go up, take out Zelensky, and he's going to take Odessa. And I think that that's the next step. And we're already seeing Russia move towards that right now.
Man, that would be nuts. If they take out Zelensky, that would be crazy. I like what you're saying, though, about the strategic. People don't think about this, but when you look at a North Pole map, you usually don't see the globe like this. It is, dude. Greenland is strategically located right there. So that is, I think, also a big part of it. Yeah, it's a great point.
Well, and if the United States controlled all of the North American territory from Alaska all the way to Greenland,
oh yeah,
watch out. You just pissed off China and Russia. But Russia, Russia's being forced in a position right now where they have no choice but to capitulate to Donald Trump. And the reason why, number one, is everything is about controlling the energy flow into China. So Iran is about to collapse. We just got word today that the Ayatollah Khamenei has actually called Donald Trump and wants to negotiate. Yep. Okay. I don't think Trump's going to negotiate with him. His negotiation is going to be.
Well, Trump addressed that. He says, he goes, we like to talk to him. He goes, but I think we're going to have to act before we have a chance to talk.
That's right. And I think what they're trying to do is to get him to leave like they did with Maduro, and they're not going to give him an option. And I think they're actually trying to capture him, and maybe we'll see another unsealed indictment about him. But the key here is that China gets the majority of its oil through sanctioned countries, Russia, Venezuela, and Iran. And when you cut off Iran and Venezuela from China, that leaves only Russia as their primary source of oil. Well, who controls all the trade routes out of the Black Sea, out of the Straits of Hormuz, out into the Middle East? That's us. That's the United States of America. So that's really, really bad for China because we can embargo that fairly easily. But what you're about to see is a transition of Russia away from China. The only reason that Russia right now is still playing with China is because they are the main financier of the Ukrainian war. And Russia knows that if China pulled out right now, then they're defunded. Now Europe, NATO, is going to go in and take out Putin. He knows this. So he has to have that counterpoint, or the counterbalance still going. And Trump knows this too. That's why Russia has not been messed with on the global stage yet. But we're about to see, I believe, the collapse of the radical EU, of the radical European center. NATO, maybe not, but I think that a lot of organizations will kind of rally around NATO, but NATO will stop the progression on Russia. Russia's going to control all of eastern Ukraine from both ports, Crimea to Odessa, which is basically going to make Ukraine not even a country anymore. But the real key is understanding is the control of energy, resources, and accessibility. If people can wrap their head around just that, that's what's going to form the hyperpower in the multipolar world. And that is the United States of America, or where we're headed. Right now, we're losing. But Trump has already turned that around. And if everything continues this way, we are going to be massively set as a country for the next 10 to 20 years.
Well, with that note, I want to bring something up, and I want you to tell me if there's relevance or context here, because this is something that Trump posted about 4 hours ago, right around that. And at first glance, I kind of overlooked it. But then I was like, let me go back to this. So this was posted at 7:20. Yeah. Well, no, the image, but I was looking for the timestamp here. So 7:27 a.m. This morning. So 10:27 a.m. Eastern time is the official time. Here's what I found interesting. He posts this image, and of course, it has the gas prices: $5.24, $5.49, $5.69. So I said, all right, let me humor you, boss, and see if these are relevant at all. Remember, today is the 11th. So 5/24 takes us to January 13th. 2 days from now. Loop Capital CEOs bod paying to play, slush fund Hussein, brackets 1. We don't say his name, brackets 2. Why don't we say his name? HRC/BC, brackets 3. Banco de Mexico, MP, brackets 4. Douchebank USA. On and on. Follow the money. Focus on the loudest voices in Washington. Net worth. Reconcile. So I said, okay, well, let's see if 549 has any relevance, since that one was January 13th. This takes us to January 18th, and it's this image. I don't know if you guys recognize any of the other faces.
Let me make it bigger.
Oh, hey, let me do this.
Oh, that's Mao, right?
Yeah, I recognize Mao, but this lady right here, I'm trying to remember her name. If you guys don't know here, let me I'll grab the copy. Let me pull this up real quick. Do you know who that? Because she is significant. She's the wife of someone that's important. Here. Of course, it doesn't want to let me know. If one of you guys wants to download it and you put it into AI and says who are these people, it will tell you.
Yeah, I got it right now. Is that 549?
Yeah, this is 549. So then the next one is 569. So I was like, well, let me see if there's any context to that one. 569 is January 19th, and it says it's an image. I'm scared. He has to use the bathroom prior to leaving Q. So those are the 3 posts that correlate to the gas prices. So then I said, well, let me just play with 199 since we're using gas prices here, and Trump chose to say, breaking 199 to see if there's any relevance to that one. So that one brings us to November 22nd. It says Uranium One, California, EU, Asia, Iran / North Korea. Where did it end up? I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a long one, but I will read the last 4. The world cannot handle the truth. The pill cannot be swallowed by most. Risk is painting this picture, the sum of all fears. And then up here, it also had Barack Obama at Harvard, and then who was biggest contributor to the Clinton Foundation. So that's kind of relevance. But all these, the first 3, the gas prices come into January, all January dates that are coming. And then actual timestamp or the delta that popped up, which was July 21st. These were the only 2. First one, 3459, says, every single dirty tactic being deployed to stop the growth of this movement. Ask yourself a very simple question. Why? Why are the biggest media companies in the world? And then the next one brings up AG Barr, Mueller. And then at the end, it says, be ready, traders, one and all. Thanks for playing. FISA goes both ways. So me personally, I think the gas, these 3 actually had relevance because they're all coming up in the next couple days. But I wanted to see what you guys thought about it at all or nothing.
Well, I found that lady is Anna Louise Strong, and she was an American journalist and activist who was in China for a while. So her story is called
I want to
Witness
say they
Revolution.
investigated them as, not treason. If I'm trying to remember the story with her and her husband, because her husband, I think, is also in the photo next to her, or as spies. I think they got investigated as spies.
So
but anyway,
it says that she lived in China for many years. Quote. Have that. So I mean, I think any of them, anyone with that strong of a tie, it could be a spy. You never know. Or they might not have even set out to be a spy. Well, you can get sucked in by these rings and these people.
This one right here, I'll zoom in so you guys can see. So this is the one that caught my attention the most. It was the first one, 524. Because this is dated January 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And who has to testify in January
Clinton, 13th. Bill Clinton.
And what does it say right here?
January 13th.
Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, $15 million, Banco de Mexico. And who did Trump say that he's probably going to do land strikes on? Mexico. So the date they're going to testify, or they're supposed to testify, I don't think they're going to show up.
Yeah, the last day that they're supposed to be there.
Yeah. And then Mexico.
Well, and follow the money. And what have we been seeing come out right now? You have Secretary Bassett coming out talking about how FinCEN is tracking the money of all these NGOs overseas. And then you're finding all of this new information coming out about the Clinton Foundation, how Clinton Foundation is probably one large RICO organization. So I have a feeling for everybody out there that's waiting, you're gonna find out a lot. You're gonna find out a lot. It is these people. Trump is not gonna let this go. No matter what, Susie Wiles, all of that stuff, the Vanity Fair was a psyop. I'm telling you, people right now are trying to hammer Trump or trying to blackpill people. I did a list of his accomplishments today, just looking off the top of my head.
I love that.
Dude, it's massive. What he's accomplished in just 11 months or 12 months is mind blowing. And for a president, it's And everybody's like, where the arrests? Dude, he just sent Delta Force in and captured the one person who basically was the organizer of the 2020 election fraud. Like,
It's insane,
what do you
dude.
mean?
And it's funny because it's like they use it against us, right? They use the Q-op and everything that's happening against us because the bar has been set, to outer space at this point, right? They're nothing short of the greatest overtaking of all time, which we are witnessing, but nothing short of that being fully and complete will ever be enough. So they will be able to use that to black people until the 0 hour. But when you just look at regular presidents, right? Say if like the scale is like here to here, this is them doing nothing, this is them sucking, and this is them being a great president, right? Say if it's like right there, and you get like Bush had great aspirations, he kind of stayed the same because of the war, and maybe even went down because he didn't do his tariff promises. Obama came in, he's talking a big game, but he never ended no wars. He did all sorrowful shit, so you can say he's down here. But man, if one of them could be a great president, could be up here. Trump is like up here already. He's like totally eclipsed what could ever be thought of as a great presidency. And he's only got 5 years logged, and it's still not enough because they are using the ultimate sum of what is happening as the way to blackmail people because it's not done yet. But it's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting. I saw a post today. Trust the plan. Trump lied to us. He made empty promises. You fell for it. That was the plan. And these people, I think that are either subversive operators, influence actors, paid shills, or they're just so wrapped up in the emotional context of literalism that they don't know how to react. You got to remember, some of these people were Democrats 5 years ago.
I know. Yeah, a lot of this is former Democrat cope, I think.
It is former Democrat cope. That's right. Yeah. And, when I look at Donald Trump and what he's accomplished in the last year, I think we laid it out pretty blatantly here, is that Trump said on December 16th during his address to the nation, I took over a country that was beaten, was down in the gutter, that had nothing to shoot in the military. The economy was absolutely horrible. And now we're strong. Now we're back on top. And what he was telling you was, I wasn't able to do these things when I first came in the office because our country wasn't ready. There was still a deep state infiltration. There was massive amounts of criminality throughout all of our states. We didn't have all of the information of what had happened between the last 4 years of when Biden came in, and that we had to figure it all out. And his announcement on December 16th was basically telling you, we got it all. It's go time. And shit, I mean, it was about 14 days through the holidays, and then all of a sudden, boom, someone flipped the switch on. And it's been nonstop since.
Non-freaking stop, dude. So it's like, if you look at, I love that you do lists like that, because I always love actually taking a step back and looking at it too, because I think the news has a good way of using the goldfish memory against us. Something great will happen, but they automatically, either the left won't even report on it, but even Fox News, they'll report on it for a day, and then the next day it's on to the next thing. But these are monumental stuff. If you look at 2005, right? He made all these trillions of deals with like the UAE, Qatar, Japan, Saudi Arabia, right? He's gone through all these different things. The border, they have, I think they're up to 2.5 million deportations at this point. The border wall has been continually going. They are going after people for the Crossfire Hurricane. The poisons in our food, dyes have been banned. They have 2 states have already banned fluoride. It's talking about taxes, right? There's no overtime on tips, no overtime, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. The DEI ESG crap was destroyed right out of the gate. That was pretty freaking awesome. You have things like USAID being exposed. You have things like the daycare scam now that has gone viral. You have all these different things that have just been like one after the other all year, which makes 2025 itself a monumental year, right? But then you get into 2026 And you have what? You have the Maduro arrest, right? Massive. That's how do you do to start the year? The childhood vaccine schedule was just overhauled, reduced down to 11 for the suggested childhood vaccines. Trump he's threatening to ban institutional investors from buying single family homes. He just threatened predatory credit card companies from charging over 10%. He just called out Raytheon, which is like a military industrial complex juggernaut, right? Getting on their ass. That's massive. No one even touches those people. The food pyramid was just flipped upside down officially to the way it should be. We just removed ourselves, or began the process anyway, of removing ourselves from 66 global initiatives, including all 31 UN programs. And then we have the assistant AG position that was just announced by Vance to be run directly out of the White House, and they're going to be starting in Minnesota, and it's going to be the head of the new Division for National Fraud Enforcement.
Yep.
It's like,
and what we learned today?
Happening. Yeah.
And what we learned today, U.S. Attorney Pirro is launching a criminal investigation in the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. He lied to Congress about the massive Federal Reserve spending, the $3.1 billion renovation of the Federal Reserve building. Then what we find today, they're uncovering massive amounts of other fraud. I just saw this today. Yeah. This LLC in Washington, D.C. received $3.1 million in a defense contract for the last 20 years. What is it? It's some abandoned house in the middle of Washington, D.C. The guy who owns the company is just a single member. They've done nothing. There's no documentation of any work. He's got he, her, and him in his freaking profile. People are uncovering all different types of government contracts that are going nowhere. It's just money going out into the abyss, and they're going to a shell company, and that shell company reroutes that money to an NGO. NGOs reroute it to the dark money channels, which is more shell companies overseas, and then that flows back into politicians' pockets through Act Blue. Man, they are uncovering it, and I want people to truly understand that. And I don't remember who said it the other day, but this is the truth. You don't take down a organization that's been operating the last 100 years to take down the United States of America, that's been building their infrastructure and their organizations for a globalist, one world government. You don't take that down in 1 year. It's impossible. You have to do this systematically.
You also don't take it down by focusing on the personalities. You take it down by identifying the infrastructure.
That's right.
Yes, exactly. So what we talked about last week, right? You can arrest every one of them. That'd be awesome. I'm totally down for it and waiting.
But, and it'll happen. But it's again, it's not the priority. It's human.
Right, if you don't dismantle the system, don't matter.
It's our priority as people, because we have these conversations. But it's not a priority because, well, that's what we need to win, because everybody understands that's not how you win. It's because people want vindication. People want to be shown, see, we told you, and that's ego. And ego.
Go ahead. Sorry, Alpha.
Ego gets in the way of actually doing a mission. And I'm telling you, when all this, when I had my own fight and I saw, local media went out and just ran my name through the mud, I told my attorney, I go, hey, let's put a counter letter together. Let's put it out in the paper. And she said, that's what you want to do because it'll make you feel better now. She said, it's not about feeling better. It's about winning. And there's the process that we're going to go through. It's a strategy. And we sat down, we game planned. And I said, hey, the way I was an expert in my field, I knew you're an expert in your field. And she made me see how that is important. And that's where we're at right now. You don't think Bongino wants to come out and just tell everybody, hell yeah, we know what's going on. Hell yeah, we did this and this and this. But that would be self-serving. What he's saying is, I'm going to come after all the black pillars and all that. And in a way that I know you two aren't a fan of. I think he's baiting, and I think he's baiting on purpose, because it's bringing certain people to the surface, including people that a lot of others probably didn't realize. Man, what kind of position that doesn't make sense. So, but anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, legal strategy and investigations is not about popularity and having people like you. It's about having a jury come back and say guilty. That's what it comes down to.
Have you ever seen the movie Usual Suspects?
Oh, it's classic.
Who is Kaiser Sose? Right?
Give me the keys. Give me the keys.
Give me the, yeah. And like, listen, people can say what they want about Kevin Spacey. I get he's probably a pedophile and all that stuff. He's one hell of an actor. Okay.
Yeah, without
He's
that.
one hell of an actor. But that is probably one of the best Kevin Spacey movies ever, behind American Beauty. But with Usual Suspects, you have this criminal mastermind who runs this transnational criminal organization, and they don't know who he is. They have no idea who he is. And the detectives are trying to figure out who he is, how to hunt him down. Nobody's ever seen him. And what do? They go after members of his crew. They arrest them. But they still can't figure it out. They can't put it all together. And at the end of the movie, one of the crew members that they arrested, the retarded guy, was Kaiser Sose. And so the moral I'm trying to get to is that just because we know surface level who these people are, how they're integrated into the transnational organizations through NGOs and they're financed through billionaires, doesn't mean we know everybody involved. Doesn't mean we know who's really calling the shots, who is the leaders of these movements, who is giving the direction from the top. And so going in and just arresting the hell out of everybody is going to do nothing, because those same leaders are just going to replace those people with new people. And so you have to do this systematically. You have to dismantle their infrastructure. You have to defund their whole entire mission. Every angle of how they get money, of how they play that game, you have to defund it. Why are protests happening right now? Because they've been waiting for some type of catalyst moment, something to initiate that they could get their people out there. Because guess what? They're out of money. They're bleeding. They need chaos in the streets. They need a firestorm because they need to move towards endgame, because they will not survive much longer.
And not just that, but the people that have been working for them want their money. And when you deal with that type of evil criminal element, they don't say, oh, hey, I'll pay you later. No, it's like, you rob who you need to rob, take whoever's money. I want my money now. And so now these same people they employed to do their rank and file, they're going to start turning on them. I wanted to address Lone Wolf here. I'll bring it on the screen for everybody to see. Lone Wolf said, hey, I met Dan and asked him point blank about Q. He told me it was all bullshit. And so here's what I'll say to that. What'd you think he was going to tell you?
Buddy, I'm right into the operation.
Here's what I'll tell everybody.
Guy I just met. Yeah, let me tell you everything.
I every time I've had General Flynn on by myself or with Josh, I always get a couple emails within the following days. Why didn't you ask him anything about Q? And I was like, why would I?
Smarter than that.
That's the most retarded thing. Let me just present this. All right. Am I supposed to say, hey, General, tell us about this Q? And then the general's going to reply, well, sure. Yeah, it's this operation that we've been running covertly, and I'm involved in it, and so-and-so's involved in it. So we went and grabbed Trump on this day, and this is what we're doing. Like, that'd be the worst absolute thing he could do, is compromise operational security. So one, it's the stupidest question to ever ask, because they would never tell you. And two, when you ask them, hey, General, or hey, Bongino, or whoever, what about Q? What you're really telling them is that you don't understand the operation.
That's right.
In the second you ask them that question, they already get that you don't get it. And that's what it comes, that's the most revealing thing. And if anything, that's probably the most disappointing part to them, because they do love you and they do care about you and they understand what's the purpose and mission of this operation. And they want to probably tell you that's not what it's about, man. Okay, like, that's not what it's about. This is what it's about. And I'll talk about that more at the end of the show when I tell everybody about a certain article.
I always see that. It's funny because people were asking, there was a
rash
of people asking,
and that's not a shot at you, Lone. I just you put it up there, so I presented it. But there's so many people that have that mentality. Sorry about that, Brad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's such a great conversation, and especially what was like about 2 or 3 years ago. Remember, there was a bunch of people right in a row would ask Flynn every time they had on. They'd ask him about you, and he'd say something nasty about it, and then everyone would be like, "Oh my God, why is he being so mean to us?" It's like you don't get it. There's two possible situations. Obviously, you and I, we're all on the same page with which one we think it is. But I'm saying even if it's one of the two, either he really doesn't like it, and he's made that very clear, and then you keep asking him about it, which is really offensive because you just want to get that soundbite to shove down Q people's throats. That's one possible, which I don't think is true, but that's one reason why you wouldn't ask him. He's been very clear about how he feels. But the second thing is, we feel like he's involved, right? I'm pretty sure he is. He might not be, but I think he is. In which case, he's made it very clear to shut the fuck up about it. If that's the case, then he's being very, very concise that he don't want to talk about it and he don't want it to be brought up. So again, you'd be offensive if you have him on your show and you ask about it for either reason, which I don't understand why people still do.
Well, and you guys are spot on right, because somebody one day is going to ask the question, and it'll be the Trump. And if Trump is feeling up to it that day after everything is said and done, he'll answer it. Like Flynn said, this story will continue to be told, and one day you'll understand. Right? Now, with Dave on X22 going out there and asking Flynn that. Listen,
oh man, I love
Dave on X22. Yeah, it was Dave on X22, and Flynn flipped on him. And here's the thing: I don't think Flynn's really been on there ever since. And so that brings a lot of credence to it. That it's exactly what Brad and Alpha are saying here: is that there's operational security. That in this operation, it's a proxy board of communications. It's a platform for disinformation. It's a platform for allowing people to get information about the context of what is happening. Because when Delta Force starts running around countries and stealing other people's presidents, people tend to get a little scared and say, what the hell is going on here? But now that you have a proxy board of communication that helps you kind of clarify what was happening in the world, why it was happening in the world, and why we have to take these actions, now it begins to make more sense. And then influencers go out there and project that message out there. And now everybody has this understanding. So a person at work is like, I'm really scared of the Trump administration. They're stealing presidents out of foreign countries. And the person can go, listen, dude, I don't think you understand it, because, Maduro was with Iran's foreign minister on the election night in 2020. And, Venezuela owns a company called Smartmatic, and they use the oil money that they seized from the people, the $3.1 trillion that's in the Rodriguez family, Delcy and Jorge Rodriguez's family, to fund and build up Smartmatic. And then there's a guy by the name of Mark Malloch Brown, who was a former MI6 agent who worked for the House of Lords and worked for the European Union, worked for the United Nations, who was the CEO of Smartmatic, who also worked for a guy called George. Like, and you can go explain it to them, and they'll be like, "Well, that was a lot of shit, but I understand what you're saying," and maybe that helps red pill them a little bit, bring them to that precipice moment within their own mind, because that's the point: is to get this information out there to help people take back their power of the American people, to ask questions, to go out there and to begin researching things themselves. Never just accept the status quo, for goodness sakes. Open your eyes and look at the world in front of you. There's massive opportunities right now. But guess what? There is an evil that has had its grips on this planet for well over 100+ years. And that evil is in the process of being eradicated. And if people can't see that, then it's our job to help them open their eyes and wake them up.
Which brings us to a great question posted by our audience over there in YouTube. What's your favorite comm? This comes from Bleed It Says. Mine is the John McCain death day prediction. That was wild. And I'm you or at least I saw that question at the perfect time, because if any of you have read my recent article, what is the plan? I tell you one of my favorite posts. It's post 96, and it's this one. And one of the reasons being is because of the first two sentences. Amazing how things make sense once you are asked a question. That's the entire point of this operation. It was never designed to give you answers. It was designed to make you investigators, to make you diggers, It was designed to decentralize the information of authority, which had been laid out to mainstream media, names with notoriety. It made everybody start to question things instead of just being like, well, that's the news, that's Fox, that's CNN, that's this politician. No, the entire point of this operation was to make you guys ask questions so you could take away the power that they've always controlled.
Love it.
Well, I freaking love
what
it.
What post
dude.
number was that?
96.
96.
The Socratic method changed everything, dude. It's not like you could hand people information as much as you want, and maybe they'll take it, maybe they won't. But when you get someone, you ask a question to someone, and you get them to find the information on their own, it just hits different. That's information that they found. They own it. They feel it. It's real. They see where it came from. It's not just someone telling them. Now they found the document. So they did that to all of us, and they made us go out and find the answers to these questions. And that's why we can speak on it on a different level. Instead of just repeating something we heard, we can say, hey, look, this came from here. This was from the IG report. You know, this is so it changed everything. And I gotta agree. I don't know if you guys want to play this. This is a thing that did 7 years ago of the McCain for people who want to know maybe what the McCain is. It's only 2 minutes long.
Fired off, baby.
I'm gonna actually
I also absolutely love that. I think it's one of the coolest Q comms ever.
Senator John McCain, independent voice of the GOP establishment, dies at 81. McCain's office said in a statement, Senator John Sidney McCain III died at 4:28 p.m. on August 25th, 2018. The day after that, Q posted, suicide weekend, hands up, 30 in the kill box, 28-minute marker in the kill box. Impossible? Coincidence? We are in control. Big week ahead, Q. Now, what is the significance of that, my decks? Well, think 28 minutes, 30, because exactly 1 month to the minute, 1828, of when John McCain died, Q posted this. Now, 1828 is 6:28 Eastern Standard Time, and 4:28 in Arizona Mountain Time is also 6:28 Eastern Standard Time. So exactly 1 month to the minute of John McCain's death, Q posted no name returned to headlines and a picture of him. Now, does that mean he's not really dead? Does that mean he's in Gitmo? I don't know what it means exactly. All I know is that it means exactly what most of us have suspected since late November, that Q clearance patriot is exactly who he says he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so,
yeah. McCain was given
that's in a minute, dude. I mean, that's insane.
McCain was given a Rommel trial. If people don't know what a Rommel trial is they go in there, they present you with the evidence, and they say, we can prosecute you, tarnish your name, take away your legacy, or here's a gun with one bullet in it. We'll let you to it. Hence, suicide weekend. This is why his daughter hates Trump so much.
Yeah. Well, she said, in fact,
they killed my brother.
Here? No, I don't. All right, I don't have it on this. She said she slipped on. I think it was on The View, and she says, "Well, you can't kill him again." And then also, there's a clip of, I think John Cassius.
Yeah, it's Cassius,
whatever. Saying that, blah blah blah. You know, that was just right after McCain was put to death. So that's two different slip-ups that both happened right after he died, where Meghan McCain said you can't kill him again, and Cassius says he was put to death.
Hold on, I got it.
Yes.
Oh man, I want to see this.
Yep. This might be So Alpha, this is crazy Q stuff. This was when it was all happening.
Which one do you got?
Kasich.
Both or Kasich? Okay.
I wish I would have been around during that time, man. It sounds like you guys were having so much damn fun.
It was
Congress,
wild,
though.
dude.
It's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death, and look at this circus of a hearing in Congress.
Since John McCain was put to death.
And then you have this one. Again, these both happened right after that. That's the most damning one for sure. And then here's Meghan McCain.
So sensitive First of all, you're talking about sitting senators and you're talking about Congress people, Maxine Waters, Mitt Romney, Adam Schiff, Bernie Sanders, President Obama, the Clintons, my father, you can't kill him again, but whatever. Rachel.
You can't kill him again. Sorry, that was a low one, but you can't kill him again, but whatever. So he was killed? What? And then put to death? Right after ended, like, how do you predict the minute? Exactly 1 month to the minute he does return to the headlines and he's dead. Insane, dude.
That's
something happened. I think too with the cards at the Bush funeral might have been something like that, like showing like Father Bush
picture of John McCain.
Yeah. Well, no, I think maybe the same treatment for Bush Senior. I think he might have been presented with some evidence, maybe 9/11, maybe a whole litany of anything.
It's very possible that they go, because here's the thing about McCain and George Herbert Walker Bush. They were both prior military.
Yep. Good call. Yeah.
McCain was retired military, which then allows him to be held on a court martial, which I believe is actually what happened. But the letters is a whole different thing. That's crazy.
That dude, Jeb especially looks like he just saw a ghost.
Hell yeah, it looks like he saw a ghost, man.
Well, and you know who's behind Pam Bondi and Susie Wiles? That's Jeb Bush. But here's the thing is, let me ask you this. The mob was first to Cuba back in the 1950s to establish the first casinos, right? And then Fidel Castro came in. And at the time that Fidel Castro came in, there was one family that was in organization with the CIA that started an oil running business in and around that area. Who was that? Zapata?
Zapata Oil.
Zapata Oil.
Well, that's Poppy Bush, man. That's there.
Poppy Bush. So who's Jeb Bush married to? What's her ethnicity? Cuban.
Is she Spanish? She's Hispanic?
She's Cuban.
She's Cuban? Okay.
His son is Cuban.
I have a feeling you're going to say that.
Yeah. Now think Venezuela and Cuba. All the shots were being called from Cuban intelligence. Start to put it together of what was kind of how this was interlaced, right?
And Jeb Bush was linked to Venezuela through banking as well.
There you go. And Daddy Bush Poppy Bush was directly connected. CIA ties into, so you have Operation Underworld, where the mob went in and the CIA used the mob and their connections directly in Cuba to infiltrate. And this is where you get all the anti-Castro protesters that come out there. Remember, Castro basically kicked the CIA out, or did he? That's the question. Or
that was almost used as like he was used as the boogeyman by the CIA, right? Yeah. That's how they wrote the Northwoods document and all these things. But it's kind of like the thing that opened them up to be able to do anything, right? They always got to have the boogeyman.
Think about Khomeini in Iran. Think about Maduro in Venezuela. That was Castro in Cuba. And see, here's the thing: is they all played a role, and his role was to create the Bay of Pigs, because that's what the CIA wanted. They wanted that war with Russia. They wanted nuclear war then and there. Now, why? I don't know what their plan was. I don't know what the point of all that was, but there had to be some type of forward progression at that point to implement communism around the world and bring about their new world order. But Castro was part of that plan. I mean, look at Justin Trudeau's father.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
Pierre, yeah.
Yeah, so the Bushes are absolutely still connected within those Cuban intelligence circuits, and we're most likely profiting from all of this.
I think you were talking about Justin Trudeau's father, the little Castro, dude. That guy is Fidel Castro's clone. I mean, you want to talk about nature's birth test or whatever.
His mom spent like 6 months over there with Castro.
Yep. I did a dig one time where I pinpointed them in the islands right on the heels of Pierre and Castro becoming friends in the Caribbean, exactly in the gestation period for when he would have been born. It's documented that they took a trip there, and that at some point they skirted their security detail and took a secret flight that no one knows where they went. All all in freaking local newspapers. I was able to find this.
And Trump's reposted the picture of Castro and Trudeau.
Dude, I mean, like, dude, they are literally, it's his clone. There's a 0 chance he's Pierre's son. It has to be Castro.
Now going back to McCain real quick, you got to remember there was one person that was McCain Jr., called McCain Jr. in the Senate. He was McCain's right-hand man. Oh, no, it's not Crenshaw.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
Lindsey Graham.
Graham.
Lindsey Graham. And so many people say that Trump freed Lindsey Graham. This is why Lindsey Graham is a staunch Trump supporter, because he knows what happened to John McCain, and he knows when you fuck around, you'll find out.
Yeah.
And he might have some strong rhetoric.
That guy would fucking, the second he thinks you lost, I think he'd run ship. But yeah.
But he didn't in 2020, 2024. He didn't. He stayed with Trump. He was. I hate Lindsey Graham. Okay,
I know. Yeah,
but
he flies with the wind a little. But Marco Rubio too has impressed me. He had come around by the end of the first term, but it was kind of like this: is he really coming around, or is he just fucking playing nice like a lot of them do? But then he stuck with Trump after he lost the election. He continued that whole time, and now he's doing great. So people can change, definitely.
And he looks like he's having fun.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I don't think he's not one of the ones they grabbed by the collar. I think he's one of the ones that probably always was on board, because he looks too relaxed and like he's having fun. And you got some of the memes, like you saw when they meet, someone posted a picture of this Marco Rubio finding out he's going to be the president of Venezuela.
That's so good.
Hilarious. Here's something I want to ask you guys before we get into the interactive part with the audience. Did you guys see the news of what X did to Twitter today?
Yeah.
So check this out. Today, X suspended the old Twitter account.
Oh, that is gold, dude.
And so why? Why is it symbolic? Is it now when you go to the old Twitter account, it shows this account is no longer active. Follow X for updates, and they literally just obliterated it. So is it symbolism? Is this a tale of the big tech is dead?
When did they suspend Trump's account? They suspended Trump's account 5 years ago to the anniversary yesterday.
It was like it was during the thing, I think, right? Then he was putting out messages.
I didn't even think about that.
And then they did it like right there.
Yeah. It was, remember Twitter, they suspended Trump's account 2 days, or
now we got to find out what day it was.
January 10th. Pretty sure
the 10th is when everyone got suspended, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And they were suppressing his messages too on the day.
Yep.
And this was them firing back.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the way, going to Marco Rubio, also important to note, he was a member of the Gang of Eight. So he was a member of the Gang of Eight Intelligence Committee, which is between Congress and Senate. And so he knew all of this information. He saw what Schumer and all of them were hiding and covering up. He knew what Devin Nunes knew.
That's a great point. That might have red-pilled him in general. That might have been a big part of what brought him on Trump's side. I don't know if before.
I was trying to see if somebody posted the exact time, but it'll take a minute to find it. So,
do you want to play real quick? I have a cool clip here. We're just talking about like all the things that are going on right now as part of Flurry. This is a clip with the David Hotch, the guy who was working with Nick Shirley to uncover the Minnesota daycare. And he
January 8th, 2021.
That's when Trump was?
Yeah.
All right. So I wonder, dude, imagine if it hit that date. It probably did. It's freaking amazing. They did a roundtable here, and I think this should also excite people to what he says. He makes a comment about more stuff, and it sounds like it's wild.
Thank you. And let me recognize David Hawk.
Mr. Secretary, I would ask permission to speak frankly. Thank you. So I've been researching this issue of fraud, and more specifically Somali fraud, because it is so gargantuan for the past 7 years. Many of you are familiar with the video that Nick Shirley and I made. We have a second video that's coming out Monday that is 10 times worse than the original video. It's going to be pretty shocking and it's pretty graphic. So what I have here
is shocking and graphic. I wonder what that means. 10 times worse.
Is a 5-year recap of all of the CCAP money, that's child care assistance payments, for the last 5 years. The top 102 recipients of that, 84 of them are Somali owned. You know how many children I've seen at those child care centers over the last 7 years? 0, not one. There's another pile of money, and it's called Great Start. And that money is given to the facility to train their staff. Well, if you don't have any kids, you don't need any staff. Then what I believe is the core of all this, is this non-emergency medical transportation. So a search showed that Minnesota recognizes 1,020 NEMT companies. Almost 900 of them are Somali owned. So in the second video, Nick Shirley and I went to 16 of them. I've actually been to about 70 of them. They don't exist. They're in an apartment building. One of them's a liquor store. Another one's a wire transfer. Another one is something totally unreal. It's a grocery store. There are no vehicles. And the average NEMT company in the United States has 20 vehicles, and each vehicle generates about $70,000 a year. So you run those numbers, 800 companies, 20 vehicles, $70,000 a year, and it's an enormous sum.
Okay, so I ran those numbers earlier tonight. It's not a couple million. It's not a couple $100 million. It's over $1 billion that works out to. That is going to those emergency vehicles. So that's an extra funding on even another scam that's added to all these. Everything is coming down, dude. These people are picking apart everything. You can watch it if you guys go here. It's also around the 15-minute mark. He has a good breakdown where he's talking about like his speculation on whether this is fraud or just not. And it's really, he did a really good job speaking there, but shit's happening right now. It's incredible.
Oh yeah. I'm excited to what they're going to be posting Monday.
I know. Yeah. And he said it's graphic. So it's like, well,
it could be child abuse. Right. That's what's happening in these places.
Oh my gosh. That's going to piss some people off.
This is it. Right. They're breaking down the infrastructure. This is what we talked about, right? You have to break down all the scams, and they're not going to be people you know. Again, they're making this new AG position that's going to be run from the White House that's starting with all this stuff. And this is how you start breaking down their system. They're just by dismantling the USAIDs of the world, by breaking down all these freaking scams, by trying to chip away at the tax crimes, by trying to talk about predatory house buying practices that drive up costs, all these different things. When the smoke is finally cleared by the end of this second term, the United States will be such a much more free and clear place to live, where you're not dying to do 60 hours a week, paycheck to paycheck.
Well, how many times have you seen people say, for all the money we pay in taxes, why don't we look like Dubai? Why don't we look like Kuwait?
Exactly.
Why don't we look like, Moscow? Well, now we're finding out why.
Why do we have crumbling infrastructure?
Yeah, 100%. And that's all going to shift. The golden age is going to be beautiful. To the audience that's watching, we're going to do our last commercial. When we come back, we're going to do the questions from you guys here on the screen before we get into Rumble Rants. But do us a solid, hit the thumb, hit the heart, share this out. We got a little over 6,000 people watching on Rumble and about 3,000 people watching on the other platforms. So do us a solid and share this stuff out. So we'll see you guys in just a moment.
Get you some of that beard oil.
Now that I'm alone at the close-up, do you see how awesome my beard looks right now?
I use the beard oil every single day. First thing.
Comes out feeling all silky smooth.
I take the dropper and I manually apply the oil directly to my mustache.
Nice and, oh man, I love it.
And then I do drops all throughout the hair, and then I just rub it all in. And then I top it off with the tallow stick on the face.
Dude, I feel like I have to grow a beard just to try this beard oil. It sounds
Do it, Jay.
amazing.
It's all from softdisclosure.com, and the best part about it is you will be supporting Badlands Media, Annie from Willow and Farms, and basically 3 of Annie's neighbors. So that's 5 total American companies that you'd be supporting with one purchase.
I have been using the Soft Disclosure scentless beard oil every day after the shower. It looks unkempt, but it feels silky smooth. I want to look a little wild and unapproachable, but for the woman I trust, she'll be like, oh, it's actually kind of soft. He is approachable after all. Otherwise, stay away. And Soft Disclosure will help you too with that if that's the very specific vibe you're going for.
That is very specific, yes. You guys are supporting American businesses when you do that. It's absolutely incredible, and you get a great, great product.
I always took BB for the one that would get the scentless, right?
They crack me up, dude, those commercials.
Oh, they're freaking hilarious. And Brad, I think Brad, you got one for us too, right?
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I think we should eventually there's gotta be a supercut of Soft Disclosure as
all the outtakes.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna tell you guys about Rumble Premium. You've probably noticed Rumble's growing fast. It's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. So true. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform. No pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Right now, Rumble's offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium and use the promo code STUDIO at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal. And I got to say, I've had Rumble Premium for over a year now, and it is worth every freaking cent. It's, again, it's one-time annual payment. I would definitely check that out.
Heck yeah. You get to watch it without the B-roll commercials and all that. That's
so awesome.
That alone makes it worth it. All right, folks, if you're new to Q After Hours, welcome. This is part of the show where we get the questions that you left down in the Rumble comments from last week's show. They don't have to be about the show. They could be about anything. Don't even have to be about Q. I mean, that's what the show's about. But you can ask us anything. We go through there, we scour, and we try to find some. So with that, I will bring that up on the screen now, and we will start with the first one that comes from Emily. Says question. And thank you to all you that started off with question. Made it so much easier to find. But she says, question. What are your thoughts on the timing of Wiener's laptop coming up again and Bongino leaving? He was Clinton's Secret Service and has spoke about how much he hates Hillary. The most vile, disgusting trash are some of the words he had used. He has also said that he can't tell us why he knows that is true.
That's an interesting correlation, right? You got how many degrees of Hillary? Old sulfur smelling Hillary.
Well, you know what Cash said after Bongino announces his leaving was that Dan had completed his mission. And so what was that mission? And I think that's more aligned towards what we should be thinking.
Yep.
Right? What was it that Dan Bongino was trying to accomplish by going in there? And here's the thing is, maybe he was doing something that we have no idea what it was.
Like maybe he was running a specific investigation since he knew flights and routes, points where surveillance didn't. You want to talk about someone that knows the itinerary? There's somebody that knows the itinerary. He knows when his team was probably pulled off, and he knows exactly what areas to start for. I agree with you completely. You got anything on that one, Brad?
I mean, I think you guys nailed it for sure. And the Wiener's laptop coming out, as Josh was saying earlier, is just a part of this flurry, dude. We're definitely in the flood.
They are so done with that one, man. Next one comes from Gigi Orion. Justice Kavanaugh questioned by Miss Lindsey Graham regarding domestic and civilian combatants being tried in a military court for seditious conspiracy and treason against the United States. Trump did not authorize a $600 million expansion of Gitmo, including new courthouses, for no reason. Tierra del Fuego and Guam are being used as well. Prison barges and Justice Thomas' wife saying people are being incarcerated and being tried on prison barges off the coast of New York. If we believe most of the deep state has been removed from the board, how and where they tried for their crimes?
That's an interesting one. So I do remember Kavanaugh being questioned by Lindsey Graham regarding domestic and civilian combatants being tried in military court-martials, seditious conspiracy. I believe that was during his confirmation hearing in the Senate. And that was a really, really interesting question. That put everybody to the Law of War Manual, 11.3, belligerent occupation. That's where we all started talking about all that. In the context of Gitmo and people being tried in barges, I know that that's what certain websites like Real Raw News want people to believe, and that Craster or Admiral Craster or whatever was trying them. There is no substantiation whatsoever of any of that information. And,
right.
you know, Brad, myself, and Alpha, we are very well connected in the context of kind of people in the know and what's going on. And if shit was like that was actually happening, I promise you I'd be the first one telling you. I promise you that we would know because it would be blatantly obvious. But I just don't see it. And that's the unfortunate part. I just don't see it.
One of the reasons I know that they're not being tried, maybe pulled into locations for investigations, maybe pulled into locations, you know, for interrogations. But the reason not tried is you wouldn't have had the Comey case that would have told off the statute of limitations. All these things you would have already established on paper, criminal enterprises and the ongoing conspiracy act. And that's what DNI Tulsi Gabbard is doing right now. And so you wouldn't redo the do because you could jeopardize the case, essentially, is what you'd come down to. So I think potentially what people probably were hearing was people were probably being pulled and things like that. But I think it was because people were being interrogated. I think people are being offered deals. I think people are giving opportunities to become part of these investigations and create leads. But I think they're being very specific as to when people start trials, because they have to do things the constitutional way.
Yep.
And that means that when that clock starts to tick and toll, that you can't stop it. And so that's kind of my take on there. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else. If not,
yeah, the 600 million, that was like an early red herring. Was it was like 2019, Josh, something like that, right? Where people were saying that there was this expansion to Gitmo and they were showing like old satellite footage versus new, but it just wound up not being true. I think that was proven to be annual operating costs that people were reading, and that there was no expansion. Trump did just sign something to expand the Guantanamo Migrant Operations Center just when he just got in for this round. That's right. It's maybe like 30 or 40 million or something. So they are expanding the Migrant Operations Center there now, but those early reports, those turned out to be fake.
Agreed.
Next one comes from Amar Q Patriot. Question. I heard on this, let me bring that up so you guys get a little better. I heard on this show, or maybe another recently, that the white hats in the military have secretly been protecting this country, and that their children are then recruited to fill their shoes to keep the secret. Legacy military, I believed it was called. My question with that in mind is General Flynn a legacy child, or was he brought in recently? I know his family was Democrats, but that doesn't mean that they were not patriots. CIA does, the intelligence agencies do like to use legacy families, especially down the corrupt way. If you've watched, General Flynn's film and stuff like that, he kind of outlines the story of how he got pulled into it. So I don't think there was a pre-existing one with his family. I think maybe one started with him and his brothers, that maybe, they've gone down that route. But it does exist. I mean, I could imagine good guys doing it the same way bad guys do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's just in everything. You have a company, and you start training your son to work for that company. So I can see that happening too. As far as having actual knowledge of this, I don't know. I don't have any connection to White Hats. I wish I did. A lot I'd ask them too.
That'd be nice. Silver Arrow says, question, how best to reform CIA? Analysis field agents have many valuable contacts, many good hearts, and we need their experience. The CIA followed foreign influence, MI6, CFR, DS Central, shooting presidents, bossing governors, brainwashing the American public, selling drugs, sex, organized crime is serious. Treason and exercise throughout the world in our name. Hang some, jail others, and keep the best on short leashes. Rename and redo the organization. Any thoughts from you fellas on that one?
You know, this is something that we actually we talked about a little at Gart Deadwood. And I think it is a fascinating subject because if you ask me, my first knee-jerk reaction is get rid of CIA, get rid of the FBI, get rid of all these friggin' they're corrupted to the bone. I know there are good people, but get rid of them. But then, from a realistic standpoint, and Quas was kind of putting this forth too, as well as a few others. Well, you also don't want to just hang your country out to dry and have zero intel working, right? So I don't know. One thing that came to me as a potential fix would be some sort of elected civilian oversight that isn't necessarily public, but they are publicly just regular civilians that are elected to be read in and basically be like, okay, normal stuff is going on. But other than that, I don't know, man, because they're pretty corrupt.
So from what I gather with the Trump administration and what their plan is with the intelligence agencies, right now, I believe there's 18 intelligence agencies.
Yeah, 17
because you got
18,
space because you got Space
18,
Force that goes in there. But with the CIA, number one is CIA proper. We have to get rid of this stigma that the CIA is inherently bad. I know that we talk about this a lot. It's a generalization. There's a lot of good patriots that work at the CIA. Okay. Just because someone has a CIA by their name doesn't mean that they're inherently evil or bad. CIA does good work that keeps America safe, that helps military and ensures that bad people get dead and good people stay alive. Okay. I just want to make that point. The second point is that the majority of the infiltration that happened within our agencies, within government, was the leadership level and then the bureaucratic level, but also kind of the holdover level. So you would have like a senior operations director at the CIA who's been in that position for 20 years. That's the people that we consider the deep bureaucracy, the deep state, right? Now, he might be having a $20 million a year budget, and he might be running operations in Latin America, right? And then he has a few different ground agents that are out there, and he has, intel agents that are being paid. And what he's doing is between them, they're running a scam that is taking drug money and it's funneling it into a shell organization. And that shell organization is funneling into an NGO. That NGO is basically giving it to a church that funnels it back into his pocket. That's how this works. It's not necessarily like the CIA is like, okay, guys, how are we going to fund this drug operation today? And where are we going to put this money and pull it out? And everybody in the CIA is like, let's do this. That's the thing that we want to see, but that's really not how it works. So partially, I want to say that I think that Trump has control of the CIA. I'm in firm belief that Trump has control of the CIA today. But what I know that Trump is going to do with the CIA is that he is going to take all of the agencies and minimize them down to about 3 different agencies. He's going to centralize so basically one of the reasons why our intelligence agencies are so able to go out there and be so corrupt and there's hard to get oversight because there's so fucking many of them. There's like 780,000 employees for all the 18 intelligence agencies. That's massive. Shrink that down to like 10,000 people and bring it into like 2 or 3 agencies. From what I heard is he wants to do a military intelligence agency and he wants to do a civilian intelligence agency. And he wants to have grand oversight over them through Congress, not just through the Gang of 8. So I think that he has a plan.
Yeah, I think what we'll see is we're going to see all the pre-existing branding that's removed, and you're gonna see the bad ones removed, investigated, imprisoned, or whatever comes along with that. You'll see the new ones absorbed into these new institutions, and you're gonna see a revolving door that keeps these people in these positions for only so many years, and that's something you already see happening at the local level, and it's because it works. So yeah, and it's something that just has to do with the experience and authority that comes with these positions. But yeah, I think we'll see, these intelligence agencies, closed up, wrapped up, but the intelligence community itself is not something that's you can't have it disappear. Right. You can't. You would jeopardize national security with that, whether people like it or they don't. There are bad people out there, and you need good people that are. There's a certain type of person it takes, to create an analyst. There's a certain type of person you need to create operators. And so, it's just like a gun, it can be used to defend life or take life. It's who's wielding it. But yeah, I agree with you guys on that. Next one comes from Jason Taylor Barton. And he says, question, after all is said and done, do you think China will still be a communist nation? I asked because of the conversation y'all were having on the Taiwan and China.
I mean, they've broken from it a little bit, but yeah, they're still wholly communists. I don't know. I feel like they're going to stay communists. Yeah.
So my thoughts on this are very radical. I think
here we go. It's going to get good.
I think by the end of the Vance administration, they're going to do the same thing to China that they're doing to Venezuela and they're doing to Iran. I think they're going to cause a complete revolution, color revolution in China over the course of the next 5 to 10 years and try to take down the CCP, which will, because, here's the thing, is Alpha's prior military, I'm prior military. We understand this because we've had conversations with people that wear stars, and they've told us that this is going to happen. It's inevitable. There is going to be a kinetic war with China. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just the way that this unfolds. And I know someone earlier was saying that, so Josh doesn't believe in the sovereign alliance. I absolutely do believe in the sovereign alliance. And 100% that Trump, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and MBS, all these, they're working together to bring about a multipolar world. But just because you come together in a multipolar framework doesn't mean there's world freaking peace. It's something that it has to be sustained. It's not kumbaya, let's all gather a guitar and sing freaking, Freebird, okay? There's still people out there that are going to seek power over another. And this is why Trump...
Think of it like this. He is working with Trump. I'm trying to think of it from the reverse lens.
Yeah.
But we still got a deep state here that we're dealing with.
That's right. We still got a deep state in China.
Exactly.
And then on the other side of it is that China is still China. China wants to lead the world in the next 20 years. Trump wants to lead the world. So how do you fend off that? Well, it's going to come to some type of kinetic conflict. And that's what Trump, I believe right now, is trying to neutralize. He's trying to bring to a stalemate. This is why we've seen the progress that we've seen over the last year, that basically the dismantling of the Belt and Roads Initiative, unrestricted warfare off the hook with the Trump administration. So I think that if they continue down that road, that there's going to be an eventuality to where they're going to have the opportunity for a revolution in China or kinetic war. And I think that they'll choose to do the color revolution prior to the kinetic war, because if they see it's inevitable, you might as well try to wake their people up first.
If you want to know what it's going to look like in China, stand by for when you get that book from General Flynn and rest in peace, Boone. That's going to tell you guys exactly what's coming with China. Next question comes from Nikki0702. Says, question, watching the replay, if they prove Obama was illegitimate, wouldn't Obamacare go away? I think there's a lot. It's uncharted territories. You know, the simple thing is, I think we all say, well, yeah, you know, appointments should go away and all this, but at the same time, you still have to make sure that the country is functioning. And there's ways of accomplishing that. So, but what that picture looks like, I don't think any of us know because it's unprecedented. It's never happened.
Yeah, and like you're saying, it's complicated. You can't just say, and this is probably why it hasn't been scrapped already, is you can't just scrap it because a lot of the insurance companies have already now, so many things have raised up to meet the free money coming out of the government. So if you just totally scrap it, well, then healthcare would be even worse than before it started. So it's like you have to, things like that and a whole bunch of other stuff, you have to really work on what's been affected by it over the years first before you can fully rescind something. And Obama did so many things, dude. You know, he did stuff with GMOs and the Monsanto Act that are now just baked into our whole sphere of how the food works in this country. And again, those are things that I should be reversed regardless if you could prove that he's not a president or not, especially with like legacy seed, not being able to use seeds that aren't GMO, or you lose funding and things like that are just horrendous. Obama did so much damage to this country, but it would be interesting. So if you can make Obama illegitimate and Biden illegitimate, that would mean you would get a much more cleaner shot at the Trump doctrine and what he's been trying to do, and would totally even out the United States. And I think they can go through the provisions that need to happen with that.
And RFK Jr. is
100%
going
agreement.
ham right now, man.
Oh, love it, dude. Insane.
What's that?
RFK Jr. is going ham on health right now. You know, you went after proteins now. He's going to make proteins good. He's going to not allow them to make all that shit synthetic. I love it. You were going to say something, Josh, though?
Yeah, I was going to say that I think that it's very plausible. We're going to see the test being done with the Biden administration. And I think that if that can come about, then you have a good case for the Obama administration. But one thing that you need is you need to validate that the 2008 election was actually illegitimate. Now, I don't know if they have enough data contained from that time frame to prove that, but we'll see.
They should just stand up in front of a picture of him and be like, look at this guy.
Look at this guy. Come
look
on.
at him.
B Marco 57. B Marco 57 says, question. Can you guys explain the charges of possession of machine guns and destructive devices? I can't understand that charge given how many people around the world do the same every day. So this one, I'll fire this one off real quick because it's reference. Why did they charge Maduro the way they did? One, it's they do got to feed into the optics of what Trump said, right? This is narco terrorism. And when you're looking at machine gun charges that are combined with drug trafficking, you're looking at 30-year sentences minimum on a first-time offender. You could, in some certain packages, you can go right out, to life, because the state still only has certain jurisdictions. And so, if the narrative is that this narco trafficking is what's killing Americans, you're going to have a hard time getting a jury because there's certain ways that the law, you have to check the boxes on these elements for murder, and there's so many degrees of separation between Maduro and when fentanyl or coke or heroin finally makes its way to the user, that's a hard thing to kind of sell at the local level. But what these charges do is they create this. They validate what Trump and them are saying about the narco terrorism, and two, it does put heavy charges as far as time that comes with it. And then when you start to collaborate, a New York case with the Florida case, with the Texas case, and all against Maduro, well, then that gets into, now you can start to raise the ante to the federal level because you get into criminal enterprise. Now you can bring other countries in there and you could do stuff like that. So this is making sure that you can anchor probable cause to buy yourself the legal time for everything else on things that are really easy to show. The guy had a machine gun and the guy had dope and trafficked it. It's an open shut case. So that's how I would explain that one.
Well, and also remember the reports of people coming over the border with man pads and automatic weapons. And don't forget that many of the Mexican cartels were building warehouses right over the U.S. border in Texas. And in those warehouses, this is where they were processing a lot of these illegal immigrants that were coming up from Venezuela, but it was also a storehouse for massive amounts of weapons. The question is we know special operation forces have been operating in Mexico, in Latin America. So the question is that I have is, did they discover weapons caches that lead directly back to the Maduro regime, Cartel de los Sols, that were being planned to come through to the United States or in the United States? And I think that might be part of it.
That would be huge. And then that makes me think too, you mentioned like the cartel aspect, right? What if there is a Fast and Furious connection here too? Because then that would link Obama to the whole thing.
There you go.
And some politicians. Last one coming from Trader 6. Question. Do you guys think Nick Shirley exposing all the fraud in Minnesota pushed Trump's hand into moving forward faster, as now more people are woke to the fraud? Will his exposure help reduce violent outbreaks and protests across the country as more people will start to accept government corruption?
I guess we're already seeing the answer to the second half, right? There's been more protests.
It's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to what we've been talking about, taking the power back to the American people. Listen, there is so much rampant corruption that our government, they're only looking at what they can see and what they're uncovering. When we citizen journalists go out there and uncover it and it goes viral and the DOJ immediately jumps on it, that's telling you that we are so overwhelmed, but thank you for bringing this to our attention, because you just uncovered something so massive that ties back into everything else. This is the key, is that the Trump administration is telling you, we need your help. We need you. What we trained you guys to do the last decade, we need you now.
It's what the Q plan was for us. Now it's going mainstream, saying jump in, and it's exciting too. Look what happened right after that report. People started going to checking it out in their own states, all over the place. So people see that, hey, if I could break something, even if it's just, for selfish reasons, that I want my name to be on there. It's motivating people to jump in the game, and it's getting Americans involved. And it looks like there's going to be even this part 2 this Monday. So that have the same effect times 2. Love it.
And again, it goes back to why I love post 96 so much, because if I would have kept reading on in that post, I think it's the next sentence or the sentence after that, now it charges you with work to do. What does it tell Nons? Save and archive everything. That's an actionable request. That's not sit on the couch. That's not sit and wait for someone to come save you. That's, hey, save and archive. And then the sentence right after that is, and share this information, spread the word. That's going out and telling you to do work, not sit on the couch. And I'm telling you, I love post 96 because it counters anyone that says, oh, Q just made people sit around on the couch. No, it doesn't. It specifically instructed people, get your ass to work, decentralize this information, and then go and share it with people. And it goes
Those
on.
People are typing it from their couch, Alpha.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah. Archive Online is on there. And then it goes on also on the post, and it says, timestamps for vindications and stuff like that. But like I said, the first half of that post is charging you with instructions. So, but it is time for Rumble Rants. So I will bring those up on the boards. And if one of you gents wants to see if we got any Badlands boosts, I will appreciate that. So first one, $10 coming in from Mouchard. I hope I said that correctly. Wife snoring. Talk louder. You three are my heroes. Keep it up.
Nice.
I love that. Don't wake her up. You can be in a lot of trouble, man. Happy wife, happy life. So be careful, Patriot. Be careful. $1 from Keith O'Higgins. Could that suspicious package be on Macron's wife? Good one, Keith. $1 from Keith O'Higgins again. With the hold the line Q drop, maybe Q is just a fan of the band Toto.
Love isn't always on time.
Listen, Toto's good, man.
Yeah.
Dollar for dollar from PowerCell 99. Post 555, we are with you. Post 246, underground massive data center. And talk of data center 9 years ago. And then 499 has kill brackets in 2. Look at the gas price images. I like that. I'm going to go back and check that out. Speaking of data center, yeah, you guys know I'm a 49er fan. So just a little interesting conspiracy theory. Shout out to my best friend Tobin. He called me today. He's like, and it's 11:11 on the West Coast. So y'all make a wish. But he calls me. He's like, hey, this is right after George Kittle. For those of you that don't know, we just lost George Kittle for the rest of the season. He tore his Achilles, so that sucks. But he goes, hey, man, have you ever heard the conspiracy theory around the energy facility and it being around the 49ers Levi Stadium? And that's why they're being plagued with so many injuries. It's creating this soft tissue thing. And so I was just like, nah, I never heard of it. So I started looking into it. Now, and I literally only had a little bit of time to look into it. And it actually, what I did find was an article from a doctor that was like, one, he goes, I'll debunk it, because 2, EMF would actually help soft tissue heal faster than actually make it weaker. But anyways, I thought it was interesting because I saw the 4.9 in that post. So thank you guys for letting me have my squirrel moment.
That's I bet you stuff like that goes on all the time.
Makes you wonder. Things may go dollar for dollar. ZBM Alpha hasn't even seen Zoolander yet. Please tell me you've at least seen Hot Rod, bro.
Hot Rod's hilarious.
Never even heard of it. I got a freaking list of movies I gotta watch because CanCon's like, you've never seen that, and I thought I love movies, so I guess I just
you definitely should watch the Dirty Harrys, dude. Just peak Clint Eastwood.
Let me put that. Yeah, I've always heard of it, just never seen it, but that post and your guys' conversation got me curious. $5 coming in from T Savvy. If we never had Q, we'd all have lost our shit by now. Because of Q, we are cozy and content enjoying the show. LFG. It definitely was. There's a lot to it here. Once we get, I'll address it later. I don't want to get out of order here. I'll do it in our final words and predictions. Dollar for dollar from G Fontes 119. Nice shirt, Brad. Now you got to share it with us, Brad. What are we looking at here? Jesus. Oh, nice, man. Powered by, does it say powered by Jesus?
It's the Coca-Cola logo. It says, thou shalt never thirst.
I like it. I like it. Good eyes, G Fontes. $10 from Atomic Blonde. What's up with Trump's latest photo? That was earlier tonight, so I'm guessing that's the Dirty Harry one that we addressed in the show today, which is the whole reason I got to go watch that movie now. $2 from No Ran Knows. You discussed dynamics of U.S. with Russia and China. You missed that Russia and ghost planes left Venezuela with 500 billion of Maduro's silver, then delivered to China for cheese use in taking down the CCP.
You'd have to send me the information on that.
Yeah, I've seen some conversation circulating around that. I haven't seen anything official to support that, but when you send it to Josh, send it to me too, please. Dollar from Christchild 2020. Can't wait to see Trump negotiate the terms of surrender of the World Economic Forum. 10 days.
Right, the 19th, he's going to be there. 26 is awesome.
Oh, he's going to own their
perennial prophets of doom. That's my favorite quote of him ever, talking about the population control fear mongering shit.
He's going to beat the shit out of them when he gets there. $10 from Up North Sue. And gentlemen, kudos to all the awesome breakdowns. You guys should put a list of events expected to happen this week. Minnesota fraud release, Florida judicial, cleanse, etc. Then next Sunday, do a checkoff. Not a bad idea. Didn't you do something like that already, Josh?
Star Trek?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, I thought I saw some. I think there's one floating around of things that are popping off this week. So if I don't find it, yeah, I will pressure Josh to make one for all of us. Dollar Christ Child 2020. Bongino did what Trump wanted done. I agree.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, you never let the enemy know what you're doing. So
$5 from NC Cheney. The story on Wiener's laptop. 9 to 12 officers who viewed the material on the laptop committed suicide. Yeah, that is tragic shit.
I think one was shot up in the Bronx, and the rest committed suicide.
Yeah, if you guys, I was supposed to do it last week and I didn't do it. One of you guys remind me tomorrow. But Patrick Bet David did a phenomenal. I listen. I don't always like some of the shit he does and some of the shit he avoids, but every now and then he nails these podcasts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He does his podcast and he has John Podesta on.
What?
And yes,
Really?
bro. You know what?
Recently?
Yes. Can one of you? No, I'll look for it right now. You know what? If I don't find it in time, we'll play it on either DEFCON or Q After Hours next week. But it's about a 5-minute clip that's completely. I mean, the whole interview is about an hour and something, but there's a 5-minute clip where, dude, he just straight out confronts John Podesta on all the people that were tied to the Clintons that are now dead. And Podesta loses his shit, bro. He's like, why are you pushing these conspiracies and all that? Now,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, this was only like 3
Well, he
years.
did it with Anthony Weiner.
A while ago?
No, he did it with
Weiner. No,
Yeah.
it was Weiner. You're right. It was with Weiner.
He did it with Weiner a few years ago.
Yes. And
okay, yeah, I could find that.
No,
yeah, Weiner. It was okay. Yeah.
Podesta. You know what? I'm gonna look for it. Here, let me uncheck this one so I know it's on my to-do list yet. $1 from Keith O'Higgins. How much of Clinton's testimony will deal with the Obama era BlackBerry data from the phones via burn bags?
Did Keith actually ask a real question?
He did. He did. Unless we're just
okay
joking there. Keith's been compromised.
I don't know. I hopefully a lot because I want to know too.
Well, then that's the part that sucks because if I understand it correctly, it's also a closed session. So we're gonna have to rely on people telling us whatever goes down in there. If they show up, I don't think they're gonna show up. $1 from Angie K. Did y'all see the U-Haul that ran over protesters of Iran tonight? Yes.
Yeah.
And DOJ is already on that and looking into it. I know they pulled the driver out and beat the beat the woohoo out of them. Let's see. $1 from Christchild 2020. What did we see at the White House right after 2020? Remember the buses, the barbed wire fences, lawyers going into the White House after dark. Looked like JAG to me.
I think they've been prepping for a long time. I wonder sometimes if it was twofold losing the election. Like, obviously, they're going to cheat, right? So if you want to lose that election, all you have to do is just let them. But if you do that, probably give them an extra 4 years to one. You get the inverse red pill, which sucks, but it's also good, right? For just the minds of the human people. But then you also have 4 years to actually comb through all the data, right? We have everything, probably a lot of shit to go through. So I bet you there's a lot of things that have been in the works since they got in for the first 8 years leading up to this.
Yep.
4 in, 4 out.
$7 from Ms. Rhea Freedom Fighter. Great show, gentlemen. Thank you. I hope you're lifting, Alpha. I've missed about 5 days of the gym because I went and spoiled myself. But I'm back on it this week, Ms. Rhea Freedom Fighter. So I'm coming for you. $1 from Christchild 2020. China just lost access to a lot of oil due to Venezuela being neutralized. Their war got a lot more expensive. Yep. Dollar from Angie K. They tried to kill Nick Sorter and Carl Higbee tonight.
Oh yeah,
I saw that.
Surrounded his car.
I know a few days ago they went after Nick. You guys want to catch me up on what happened tonight? I didn't hear about tonight's.
They attacked him. It wasn't horrible because I think he's got security around him. I think he's got some 3%ers around him, just between us. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. But they did like get a smack in on him. I believe he hit the person back.
Yeah, and I think when he was driving away, they were trying to surround his car and shit. But it's like. This is why I think the psychological going after the fake news and fake Hollywood and all this psychological propaganda and is so important, coupled with red pilling your friends. It is very important to get them away from this, because that's the exact thing that led to, that poor lady who got herself killed by the ICE agents. He would probably, if it weren't for all this crazy propaganda of the last 20 years, she'd probably just be a normal mom living her life, working or doing whatever. But instead, we're 20, 30 years in this total liberal, progressive mind virus brain rot that they've put on the society. And here you have a normal lady out there harassing for hours and hours ICE agents until it finally reaches a crescendo where she hits the guy with the car and gets herself shot. And that has nothing to do with the ICE agent. That has nothing to do with all these different factors. It has to do with, again, liberal progressivism, which has totally effed the minds of so many people in this country. And then also with the people who are cheering it on. You got the media and all that, but even the politicians on that side are they literally cheer this type of stuff. They say things like Kamala Harris saying it's not going to stop. Get out there. They cheer them on. They want the violence. Yep. They absolutely want people like that to go get themselves friggin' killed. And that's why we have to push back and red pill and push back on the fake news.
The other thing too is, people are focused on the loss of life from that lady, who, that she created that scenario herself.
It's tragic, but her bad decision.
But here's the other part. There is another victim too, and it is the officer.
Oh yeah, of course, man. You know this. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That guy's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Even though he's absolutely justified, he knows he still took a life, and that is a very, very hard thing to deal with. Even when you were right, it's the combat environment overseas is way different when you're dealing with one of your own countrymen, even when you know that they were just completely stupid. So carrying on, dollar for dollar, Christchurch 2020, medbeds will eliminate big pharma and Greenland solves GMO. We need the seat vault in Greenland. I hope they kick the doors off that damn thing. Dollar for ZBM. Alpha, you're killing. Guys, help this poor Marine out. Give him the American cult classic must-see list. Listen, somebody create that list on X, tag me in it, and I will start watching them on Saturdays. Dollar from Keith O'Higgins. With that conspiracy theory about Levi's Stadium energy, no one would get hurt around low energy Jeb.
Safe. Mark safe.
Dollar, you're killing me. Thank you for ZBM correcting that. $50 coming in from Night Shift 1970. Alpha needs to watch Dirty Harry. Okay, folks, I am going to watch Dirty Harry this week. All right.
They're fun. They're fun movies.
I got it. There's multiple.
I think there's 5 of them.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Well, I will. Is number 1 the one you guys are talking about with that scene?
Yeah, that is for the first one.
Yeah. I will definitely start with that one.
And there's 4. Go ahead, make my day.
Yeah, famous line. Use the line, never seen the movie. I'm guilty. Last Rumble rant coming. Dollar from Christchild 2020. Get your bingo cards out.
Yep.
Yeah. Hell freaking yeah. Absolutely.
And we do have a Rumble rant. Or Badlands boost, rather. That was came in, I think, a day after last week's from Rainbow, very generous, $50. Says, please clip Brad's election fraud history so it could be shared far and wide. You're all brilliant, but I agree with Brad. This is the key to what's happened to America and the world, where we're going with the wall. And I say I did clip that. It's probably buried now on my Twitter, but you could find it on my Twitter. But also, if you go to my Rumble, where we go when we go wall, you'll find it on there. I just uploaded it by itself as well. So, yes, and thank you for the Badlands boost.
Nice.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
I think one of you guys found the PBD clip.
Oh yeah, I did.
Because I'm still looking for mine, but if you already
it's
found
an 18-minute clip, so I don't know exactly where it is, but it says Anthony Weiner has meltdown when asked about Clinton's.
Okay, I found it. Here it is. I found it. So I can. It is 4 minutes. Let me pause this real quick. Let me put it on this other web browser for you all to see. You guys are going to enjoy the hell out of this. If this is the first time you've ever seen it, just seeing him get so irate and pissed is legendary. All right, here we go. Let me bring it up for you guys. Here we go. And here we go.
She was with Hillary for she's 20 years.
And the whole thing with the life insurance, you know, the email, 650,000, the one folder with the word life insurance and the files that are in there. So the next thing that people said, you got to ask him is the following. So, you know, Rob, if you can pull up this story, I'm not going to buy into this one. Well, 9 out of 12 cops, NYPD, who saw the email and saw what was in that laptop, you know, committed suicide. And it was, you know, 7 of them since June, and it was the most ever that this took place. And these are the men that committed suicide. So then we went and looked it up, and we're like, no, they did commit suicide, but it wasn't linked directly to seeing the laptop or the intel there. No problem. So again, no credibility there. So there's no reason to ask you the question about the 9 out of 12 cops that saw it.
You shouldn't even be listing them and giving it oxygen.
No, my job is to listen, because I like to read.
List them. You shouldn't be listing these things.
Well,
these things
it is what it is.
Destructive. People have actually
these
had
are conspiracy
violence
theories. These are conspiracy theories that
all
some
that have
people,
books about them, though.
Right. But the one thing that we did look up that wasn't a conspiracy theory was the following. And this is the one that's kind of weird. And first thing I asked myself is, how the hell is our guy here, Anthony Weiner, still alive? What do you mean by that? Well, when you go
and if you guys want me to pause it so you can interject, just say pause it and I'll pause it.
You're good.
Through the list of people that have been close to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons and the death pool. This is not a conspiracy. You got the names of James McDougal, okay, Clinton's convicted Whitewater partner, died of an apparent heart attack. You know, Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop in Georgetown.
Ron Brown, he died in a plane crash.
Vince Foster Vince Foster was the next one. By the way, the James Dougal was a key witness in a key Ken Starr investigation.
Ron Brown was in a plane crash. Why is he on the list?
Ron Brown is another one, but there was a close person to this. Victor Razor. You got Paul Tooley, Ed Woolley.
Wait a minute. You're reading a list of people that Bill and Hillary Clinton knew. They're 80. They're 70-something years old.
I'm asking you this question. I'm asking you this question and an answer at the end. So you got Jerry Parks, Jane Bunch, James Wilson, Kathy Ferguson, Bill Shelton, Candy Bow, Florence Martin, Susan Coleman, Paula Grober, Danny Casolero, Paula Wilker, John Parnell Walker, Barbara Weiss. We should verify this yourself because you're running a radio show. You should look it up.
Charles Meisner,
Dr.
names,
Stanley Hurd, Barry Beal, Barry Seal, Johnny Lawhorn.
Can you read me the URL you're reading? Can you read me the URL you're reading?
We'll send you the most credible source you can look it up.
Let your listeners know what you're reading.
We'll put the link below. We'll put the link below.
Just tell me so I know what I'm responding to.
Friday, Kevin Ivey, Dan Henry, Keith Coney. And these were part of the Ivy Henry case. Keith McCaskill.
What's the Ivy Henry case?
You can look it up. Ivy Henry case. So Gregory Collins, Jeff Rhodes, James Milland, Richard Winter, and then you got the close bodyguards, Major William Barkley, Captain Scott Reynolds, Brian Hanley, Tim Sable, General William Robertson.
You don't even know what you're reading a list of. How is this?
Densberger, Robert Kelly, Colonel Gary Rhodes, Steve Wills, Robert Williams, Conway LeBlue, Todd McKeon. I'm done. It's 46 names. And
of what? Can you read me the list? Can you read me the URL so I know what you read a list of?
When I finish this, stillinthestorm.com. You can look it up.
Stillinthestorm.com.
You can look it up.
This is your big moment, guys.
Yeah. So you can go. And by the way,
ads about chemtrails at the end of it.
He hasn't even asked the question. He's just reading the article.
Chemtrails are proven true.
names.
So
He hasn't even asked
James
the question. It's a
Actually,
list.
how long after this
you're
interview?
getting nervous as an answer.
It's not
okay?
nervous. This stuff
Let
makes
me
me
wrap
sick
it.
when you repeat
Exactly. It
these
makes us sick as
ridiculous.
well. It also
It
makes us
obviously
sick.
doesn't. It
Of course,
obviously
because
doesn't.
the establishment
You
makes us
start
sick.
the question by reading a list of
Your reaction
well-founded
is an answer.
conspiracy. I know these things make me sick, and people
Your
have gotten
reaction
killed
is
over
an
it.
answer.
Someone went into a pizza parlor in
Yes.
Washington because they believed
Oh
this
my
shit.
God.
And you're making an echo
Your
chamber. out of it.
reaction is an answer. So let me go to it here now.
No.
So-
No.
so
Your
Your
You're not
reaction
going
is
to read
an
a
Pause it
list.
right here.
My reaction
Pause.
is my reaction.
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
tell me what that list, in your view,
You
what would-
haven't allowed me to finish. If you allow me to finish the
because you're reading
question,
46
then you
random
can
names
do
off the internet.
whatever you
of
want.
He's
some
so
fucking
pissed, bro.
insane website.
I love your answer
And
because
Yes.
All right, can I say something? They always default to the Pizzagate with the guy who went into the pizza store. He was looking for the
Comet-
missing kids. Was
Comet
the
Pizza.
fakest thing ever. That was literally. They're saying what? So you can't talk about it because someone might go crazy and go to a pizza shop. That guy went into the pizza shop, right? Totally organic, and he was going to save kids hiding in the basement. And his way of doing that was he shot a bullet through the door to what he thought was the basement. So one, that makes no sense if he's trying to save kids that are down there. Why would he shoot a effing bullet through the door? And two, that bullet just so happened to go through the hard drive of what's his face, David LaFont's weird boyfriend, Media Matters guy, the Alefantis's computer. How convenient that destroyed the hard drive and made no sense because were you trying to shoot the kids? And so that's just literally, that was a psyop that they put together so they can talk shit on Pizzagate and say anyone who talks about conspiracies is dangerous. Don't forget about the Pizzagate pizza shop guy.
There's so much celebrity comic ping pong when you go into the signage, and they've adjusted it since then. But at the time where you had the crescent moon and I think something there's the whole lot there, and it's not the only place. There's actually another place in downtown Hollywood. What's it called? Devil's Pizza, Satan's Pizza.
So there was an episode. I forgot the name of the show. It's one of those obviously TV shows out there about police, and they kept on getting called down to this restaurant in New York City. And the guy was like freaking out, like they're holding children down there. They're running a human trafficking ring down there. You need to investigate. They're like, okay, sir, where is it? He goes, go into the closet. It goes down to the basement. They go into the closet and there's nothing there. And they ended up removing this guy from trespassing. And like 2 days later, they find a girl, an Asian girl, straight off the boat who says, oh, I was in the basement of this place over here. And they went in there, they raided the place. And sure enough, they were running a human trafficking ring and child pedophilic ring in there. So Hollywood mimics reality.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's important to understand here. And Wiener was obviously scared. He did not want to talk about this. Hillary's watching, dude. Stop. It would have been funny if he was like more funny and like been like, look, dude, Hillary's probably listening. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to die tomorrow. Right? Like,
yeah, I don't want to make the list.
I do have an update though that we should share on Nick Soder. So nice. He posted this video, and watch what happens here.
Cute.
Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
And they get stopped.
Oh, yeah, they broke through his back window. I see that.
Yep.
Like, I don't. It's funny. They
They call the police, and the police won't respond to them. Mayor Frey and the police commissioner have told police to stand down. I got a special connection down there, and basically, so this is really interesting. So BCCI, which is kind of the intermediary legal enforcement between the federal government and the state government here. The FBI has shut down all intelligence and active investigations with the state of Minnesota. Like as of 3 days ago. So the state of Minnesota went after this federal officer and said they were going to prosecute him. FBI came back and they pulled all of access through BCCI in Minnesota. Basically, no more federal cases are being worked with the state level. But Mary Moriarty is saying that we're going to investigate it and we're going to try this guy if he's found guilty. But this is getting really heated. Now, in Minneapolis, they're telling their officers to stand down. They're not even responding. And this is going out over the channels to other law enforcement. Basically, they're saying Minneapolis is warning other law enforcement in St. Paul and nearby to, if they get calls, do not respond.
What you'll see these other agencies, depending on what they're, it shouldn't be, but depending on how they align, there's a cop. So it's not a myth. It's just times have changed. People are under the understanding that a certain cop can only, if you work in a city, you can only do the performances of your jobs in a city. And that got changed after 9/11 with the Patriot Act. If you were a cop, your peace officer powers exist through that entire state. And you can even cross state lines, although you got to be careful there with some of the powers in different states. But you can go anywhere. For instance, there was a portion of a neighboring city that was a very violent city. It's a Crips gang that operates out of there. And the agency that certain neighborhood, is in their jurisdiction, they're not allowed to go in there without having 2 units. And so there was one particular night where my agency that I work for got called in there, and things were handled differently. And I could see something like that happening here with all that's going on. But the other thing too is I if it hasn't already, I can see the OIG getting involved here. I can see that the federal government can come and investigate a municipality. Because here's the thing, they don't have to say they're coming in because of the immigration stuff. But if people are calling 911 and the officers are being told not to respond, especially in the commission of a felony crime, because what you have there with all those people around the car, here's the thing, when you understand the law, you can get very creative with the law to make it apply. And what you see there is conspiracy, and conspiracy is a felony.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're calling 911 and someone there, whether it's the sergeant, the lieutenant, the commander, or even the chief of police themselves, says don't respond, well, what you're doing is you are now committing a crime.
You're inciting an insurrection. You're inciting violence.
And so, and something like that can get the federal government to come in and start to babysit them and to look over the shoulder and then even pull their powers if need be, and then obviously you have to entertain the idea of a sheriff's department, and then there's that jurisdiction who has the ultimate authority. But yeah, hope Nick and them are okay and are careful. If you guys
did you see this White House video drop?
If it was a few hours ago, yes. If it was
on TikTok,
recently, yes.
Pizza and hot dogs.
Should I play this? 30 seconds.
Wait, hold on. I don't think that's the one I saw.
I think
well, let's play it. 30 seconds. This was on White House's TikTok.
Eat real food.
We got the hot dogs, we got the pizza specifically in that photo.
No.
That's wild. First one hits the pizza, the second one hits the hot dog.
It's a cake.
No, there's a pizza next to it.
There's a pizza right under it.
Yep, cake and a pizza.
And hot dogs.
And hot dogs.
Bro,
after that last one.
Just called out Obama, dude.
Yeah.
What is this? Launching of the fighter jet, the bombs going down, and then you split screens to the drones moving in on their targets. Eat real food. As in, let's eat real food, not make up names of little kids that resemble. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's massive, dude. That's right. And it all ties together. Even like that clip servicing with the Wiener freaking out there, dude. A quick addendum just from a little Pizzagate rant. One of the big debunks of Pizzagate is that there's no basement in his pizza joint, right? There is an interview that I found from years ago where he's talking about storing jars of sauce in the basement of his other restaurant that's on the same street, and it's just a couple things down. So he does have a basement, and it's right pretty much there. So you know that. And also the list that he's freaking out about was printed just 1 year before JFK Jr. Died, which I think he was taken out by Hillary Clinton. And he was the executive producer of this book, the Book of Political Lists, by his magazine, George, in which they published the Clinton body counts. Okay. So that's pretty nuts, man. It is in freaking print from George Magazine, Clinton body count, 1998. And it's just like, dude, how do you know? I'm sorry. I know he's like, they're old people. They know people. Dude, nobody knows 50 effing people who've been murdered or committed suicide. Okay. I'm in my 40s. I can make a list of, I don't know, about 3 or 4 people, unfortunately, who fit that category. The Clintons have 50 to 100.
Look at how many of their bodyguards, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. I mean, dude, this list, and these are all people, like you're saying, and there's so many plane crashes. So Vince Foster's obviously the most notorious one, where he got shot in the back of the head. Well,
the one that Patrick David brought up, the guy, now I can't think of his name, but that guy got stabbed 113 times.
Yeah.
It's freaking nuts, dude. It's just so freaking, it's crazy. They're all, and who's tied to Whitewater and who's in with them with this, or it's just something's there. And they are evil, dude. Hillary Clinton, she had a personal relationship with Saul Alinsky. She had a personal relationship with Saul Alinsky. She wrote her freaking thesis on the guy and used to meet for biannual meetings of her own words to talk with him. This is a literal, the community organizer of all organizers, how to deconstruct America.
The Weather Underground.
Turn into a socialist state. So it's like, these people are bad. They're very evil. They're much more evil than anyone would imagine.
Agreed.
That's a damn truth. Well, gents, it's that time. Wild predictions on our way out. Josh, you want to kick us off? What is your wild prediction?
I think I've been saying this one, but I'm actually gonna go this way. We're gonna bomb the shit out of Iran. We're gonna take out the Ayatollah.
Oh shit.
I can see
that. That's a good one. I think this is technically going to happen a touch after, like a day or two after next week's episode. But I think Trump is going to go crazy at the WEF. I think he's going to tell them all what the fuck is up. I think it's going to be a cool speech with awesome bombs dropped.
I think we all need to listen to what the hell Trump says there. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
My wild prediction, before this month is up, Trump will have hit strategic landmarks inside Mexico.
I think we're all on point. I think one of these is going to come true.
That's right. So here, I said I had something where I need your guys' help with. So I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Josh is aware of this. I don't know if you are yet, Brad. But I was working a Substack article /book. This is free, just to let you guys know. And it's titled, What is the Plan? A phase-by-phase analysis of the Q operation through the lens of fifth generation warfare. It is long, folks. It's about 22,000 words right now in this capacity. And it's broken down into 17 phases. And one of the reasons that I wanted to put this together is there's two things I see. I see the people that attack the phrase, trust the plan. And every time I confront these people, I'm like, well, what is the plan? They don't know. So I'm like, you're attacking something. You don't even know what it is. How do you know if it's legitimate or illegitimate? You don't even know what it is. On this other side of that, you also have the people that are pro-Q and pro-trust the plan. And I'll ask them, what's the plan? And a lot of people who know that there's something good going on, but don't really understand it or how to articulate it. And that's bad news too. So this article was written for two audiences. It's for the skeptic and also for the supporter. And, it's the first, I would say eight phases kind of do an analysis and an assessment of things that have already kind of happened. I kind of feel like we're in the late 8 to 9, 10 phase when you guys start reading it. And then when you get into, 11 and beyond, it's kind of my assessment of what potentially is coming. And I think there's a lot to benefit from it. Josh has said he's going to get involved with this with me, and he's going to be expanding upon this. And we're actually going to turn this into a book.
Nice.
This is your guys' opportunity to get ahead of the curve on the beginning portions of what will be a book later on. And, when the when the Department of Energy the other day, or was it the Labor? It was one of them, put out the trust the plan. I was like, all right, I get it. I'm rushing. I'm trying to get it done. So it's out there. I will drop the link in the chat for you guys. I know a lot of you wanted to read it on X, so it is on X. I had to break it up into 3 parts because X limits how long an article can be. So if you want to read it in one fluid motion, you can go grab it from Substack. If you don't mind reading one part, then the next part and the next part, you can grab that from X. So a lot of thought went into this. You guys know Josh is the human encyclopedia, and I know he was pretty excited about it, and that made me more excited about it. So
I'm pumped.
So with that, folks, I have now dropped the link for that in Rumble, and I have now dropped the link for that in YouTube. So if you guys, at a very least, if you guys can help me out and share, and like I said, it's free. The book won't be, but the article is. And so with that, I'll turn it over for you guys for our good nights and goodbyes and anything you guys want to add. Actually, it looks like 2 more Rumble rants came in. Got one from G. Henry, $5. Prediction: hostile takeover of the USPS by Jeff Bezos. Very interesting considering that letter they put out a few days ago. And then $2 from Postbiz. There are 4 more victims, 3 orphans. Father died earlier, plus now prop raised by crazy wife. But she MABR in jail, but prepay for the kids. A whole lot going on there. I don't understand. I'll probably have to read that one again. But gents, what do you guys got coming up? Where can people find you? And then we'll call it a night.
Yeah, you can find me at Where We Going We Go All on YouTube and Rumble, and Brad CGZ on X. And then I'll see you guys in various forums on all those.
Busy week for me, just doing more shows, obviously. Got my daily dose on Red Pill Project, as well as DEF CON coming up Tuesday. Got kids after school activities. It's like the last week of wrestling. Dude, so they have, you know how varsity has like state championships? Well, they have 9GL. So for 9th grade, so 7th, 8th, and 9th graders wrestle in 9GL here. And my kids' wrestling team, they qualified for states. So the regional championship is tomorrow, but they've already qualified for 1st or 2nd place. So they're already in the state championship, which is next week. So they'll have more state wrestling tournament appearances than the varsity team ever had, which is crazy. So they're going to states. They're doing awesome. They're kicking butt. Tomorrow is one of the tournaments, and then in a week from that is the state tournament. So let's pray that they take first there. I think they're going to. This is the same team that when they played football together were 10-0 and then 9-1 the last 2 years.
Dude, powerhouse guys.
Oh,
right
dude,
there.
these kids are like farm boys, backcountry, just good Christian boys that know how to play ball and know how to wrestle.
Right on. Hell yeah.
Awesome.
You guys find me at alphawarrior.tv. Search me out on Rumble, the Alpha Warrior Show. Got a big show lined up tonight. So when you guys are not watching the Badlands stuff, come watch the replay with me. And Brad
already went.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, but I got a song to take us out if you guys are ready.
We are ready. You guys do us a solid on the way out. Hit the thumb, hit the heart, and definitely leave a comment. We'll catch you guys on the next one. All yours.
Much love, respect. God bless. Take care. Good night.
Bum 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 bomberin'. 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 Our country's got a feeling, really hit the ceiling, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Wait to a mosque, gonna throw some rocks. Tell the Ayatollah, gonna put you in a box, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Our country's got a feeling, really hit the ceiling, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Old Uncle Sam's getting pretty hot. Time to turn Iran into a parking lot, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Our country's got a feeling, really hit the ceiling, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. All the volunteers, all the bombardiers, all the financiers better get their ass in gear, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Our country's got a feeling, really hit the ceiling, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. On our lives to get up their supplies, get our hands untied, and bring them back alive. Bomberin', bum 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 bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Our country's got a feeling, really hit the ceiling, bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Bum 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 bomberin'. Our people you've been stealing, now it's time for dealing, bomberin'. Bum